You know the reason I did that?
You talk really fast.
You know the reason the reason I did that cover, the magazine cover?
No.
I'm on the deck in the back.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were. Thought it was good. Oh, hey everybody, and welcome to Sk8Board Nation. I'm Dave Andrecht, your host, and tonight, we have Jim Goodrich, who was, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to say anything, probably the best photographer back in the late 70s. At least I know that he took more care and took more time getting that shot than any of the other photographers I ever worked with. But I'm not saying that anybody was, didn't take their time, but Jim went all out, and we had strobe light night late sessions. Took hours to set up for one shot at midnight with no lights on.
That was the Oasis skate park session.
That was at the Oasis skate park. Yeah, that was quite some time ago, man.
They're nice enough to let us in there after hours.
Yeah,
but it was pretty creepy with all the lights out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was really hard.
I did bring one white floodlight though, for you guys to see by. Not that it was much help.
I was gonna say I don't remember it. I remember skating in a dark pool on a dark night with cars driving over me at midnight.
Well, you were one of the few guys who was willing to go through the hoops for me to. Every shot took 5 minutes to set up with the time exposure and the flash and everything. And you were one of the few guys who had the patience for that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think that has to do with the fact that I didn't have a photographer in San Diego. You were the photographer in San Diego, but you were with the GNS guys, and you were on their payroll. And I was understanding at that time that you weren't supposed to shoot anybody but GNS guys.
No, that wasn't true. Larry Gordon was really good about that. I wasn't actually on payroll. I was just in name. I was the GNS team photographer. But the way I got paid was for every photo that got published with the GNS team, they would pay me a certain amount of money.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I could have had that deal too?
Sure.
Damn it.
Little
did we know. I mean, I was 18 years old at that time, and I had no idea.
We're also broadcasting on Costa.
Oh, okay. So anyway, it's I had no idea. I was just like, oh, he's a GNS guy. He always takes pictures of all the GNS guys, and
it's just a natural progression because most of my friends that I started skating with that I met at La Costa initially,
right,
at the hill up there, was Steve Cathy on O'Neill, Dennis Martinez, Pineapple.
Basically all those guys with a little Hester thrown in there and
Henry Hester, yeah. So they were all friends of mine anyway. So it was just, and I would just shoot anybody that was out there when we were sessioning. But every time GNS would open like a new surf shop or skate shop or something like that, I'd be out there to shoot the team, and so it was a friendly business arrangement. But for me, it was just all about friendship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, back then everybody was pretty friendly. Pretty
for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. And until you break off and you don't ride for that team.
Well, that was a big pisser for me, is when I go out in session with somebody, and I'm not going to name names, but I'd go out in session with somebody, and the next week they'd switch to another team. So all the slides I'd shot that were at the magazine, they had to toss them because they couldn't publish them.
Right. Got it. Okay. Unless it was a really good picture, and then they would still throw
but
down on it.
I tend to try to avoid the guys that skip teams too much.
Yeah. Which was probably about 50% of the people you just named.
Probably.
All jumped around a few times.
Yeah.
So
Dave and Paul Hackett were probably the fastest in and out the GNS team.
Yeah.
Of any team.
I think they rode for Sims too for a week or two.
Did they really?
I think so.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I just remember poor Larry Gordon. I talked him into bringing him on the team because I figured GNS needed a little bit of oomph, that Dogtown, sort of Dennis Martinez, a little more radical guys. And talked him in. And Paul and Dave came down to the factory, and they went from the surfboard section to the skateboard section, and they loaded up a car full of stuff, wetsuits, the whole bit. And poor Larry, he had no idea what he was getting himself into with sponsoring these guys.
Yeah. Well, some people advantage and they quit the next week then.
Just
huh?
a little bit. Well, I don't remember when they quit, but Brad
Mm.
Bowman was pretty short-lived
Yeah,
at GNS
yeah, yeah.
too.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was another one.
but most
So,
people remember him with Sims, and I can't remember his other.
yeah, well, I don't think he ever had a board on GNS.
No,
So that's probably why, and yeah, his
yeah,
board's iconic on Sims.
right.
So, I know
Yeah,
I know today it's selling for a few grand. So
yeah,
he did pretty well. I mean, Bowman was Bowman. So,
right.
yeah.
Crazy times.
So anyway, well, we got a few questions for you tonight, and
Yeah.
I really want to get started with. Okay, so you started in San Diego, okay, and you were shooting people here.
Well, I
But
started out as a skater,
yeah, no,
but I wasn't a very good skater. Plus, all
broke a
the
few bones here and there. That's all.
all the guys I made friends with were, especially after La Costa, were all top skaters.
Yeah.
So here I'm trying to keep up with these guys, and I'm killing myself just trying to even be equal, let alone exceed them. And so yeah, I broke a few bones. I think in that first 6 months, I broke my arm, wrist, and back. My boss threatened to
Mm.
fire me if I had. He didn't threaten to fire me if I got sick or missed work again. He threatened to fire me if I had one more skateboard accident. Like it mattered
Okay.
because that was when skateboarding was not popular
Oh no,
with the
no,
public.
no. Yeah, I mean it wasn't popular at all.
So if it had been a football injury,
Yeah.
he slapped me on the back and
Yeah.
said, "Well, try to be careful."
Right.
But he said one more skate because I missed month and a half the first time, and
What'd you do? What were you working at?
I was working at the Marine Base, MCRD, downtown San
Really?
Diego.
Wow. Okay.
Well, the warehouse. It
Yeah.
was a civilian job.
Interesting.
I had to, my hair was so long, I had to tuck it up in a baseball cap because they didn't allow long hair, of course, on the base, even though I wasn't military.
Right.
That was an interesting job.
There was a lot of people that did that though. I know my
Yeah.
brother worked at Vaughn's, man. And my brother had long hair and he had to
Yeah,
tie it up and he wore a wig.
yeah,
And it was the stupidest looking thing I've ever seen.
right.
And I just remember like, I don't care, I ain't cut my hair for these people.
Yeah.
And he worked there for a few years.
Oh, I hated
But
the whole process getting the hair because my
Yeah.
hair was over my shoulders at the time,
Yeah.
and getting that hair up in the cap.
Yeah.
And then on a hot day, you got all this hair and you're just sweating all day long. You can't wait to get the damn hat off.
Just happy to get back in the skate scene.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So, but it was a tough transition for me because when I broke my arm and I'm in a cast, so I bought a cheap little camera because I could take pictures of my friends while I was healing, and all I wanted to do was skate. But then at one point, I became known as the photographer. This before Skateboarder Mag,
right.
and nobody wanted me to skate. They wanted me to take pictures of them.
Absolutely.
So I'm going, but I want to skate.
Yeah.
So that was a tough transition, especially after I got hired at Skateboarder, and I'd go to La Costa and hang with the gang, and I just wanted to skate, even though they're all kicking my ass, the
Yeah.
slalom
Yeah.
course, but I just wanted to skate, and
But, there were some heavy hitters there
well,
at that
everybody,
time. I mean,
everybody that you
yeah.
can think of,
you had Hester there, number one.
even
And
the
then
Dogtowners
Mike
would come down.
Mike Williams was down rushing it.
Bob Skolberg,
Scully.
Tommy Ryan,
Yeah.
Laura Thornhill,
Conrad.
Torger Johnson, Conrad Miyoshi.
Yeah.
It just goes on and
Yeah.
on. Anybody
Yeah.
you can think of skateboarding back then.
At one point was there.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know how La Costa happened. Late 70s, and La Costa was a resort, like
Mhm.
fancy resort that was
Yeah.
building up, and all the hills were empty. And some developer came in, paved the streets, put in sidewalks, leveled off the pads for the houses, and then the recession hit,
Right.
and the money went away. And so it's just sitting there. So somebody discovered it.
Brand new streets.
Oh my God, Virgin Streets.
All ready to go. Yeah.
And so it was a dream. And the cops, even though they're hassling us everywhere else, didn't bother us up there.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
bring coolers with beer. and-
Everything.
yeah.
Jumping over cars.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Everybody was, I mean, I knew there was a ton of people up there. I think I made it up there like twice
Yeah.
just to go hang out, and I watched everything. And because it was like all downhill guys and slalom guys.
Yeah,
I was like, what are we doing? Let's go skate up to Carlsbad, you know,
Yeah.
like let's, you know.
Well, and
So,
this was before Carlsbad opened, though
Yeah.
it opened shortly after that, shortly
Okay.
after I came in the scene. But yeah, it was awesome. No busts. You didn't have to be looking over your shoulder all the time. You
so
could
that
just
must have
kick
been
down.
like 74, 75-ish then.
I think it was first discovered late
Yeah.
74, or certainly by 75.
Yeah.
But I didn't come into the scene till 76.
Yeah. I was going to say, because I remember Carlsbad, I think, opened in 70. It was definitely going in 76.
76.
Because I know I didn't have my license yet and I had to bum rides. And I remember getting my license when I was 16, like, I can
Yeah.
drive to Carlsbad.
Well, I
I was
want to
so
say
happy
it was
at that point.
early April-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. Here's a picture right here of Carlsbad and Mr. Piercy, Bobby. This is
Yeah.
one of your photos. But Jim, I see there's a shadow right there. What's that all about?
Yeah, well, that building just wouldn't accommodate me. But that's where I mostly skated when I was still skating.
Yeah.
Was that little bowl.
Yeah, I mean that's what everybody stop up on the far left and come down and
Yeah.
pretend to be surfing. Yeah.
Right. But that was a fun little.
Half the people up there were wearing shoes and the other half weren't, until then they
Right.
forced everybody to do it, and then people
Yeah.
cut the soles off their shoes so they could keep that bare foot going. And
Well, I
Yeah.
never even spent any time in the back end of because nobody really skated back there except
Yeah.
maybe some of the beginners,
oh
all
shit, man, that's
the
where I
moguls.
started down there.
the moguls and
Uh-huh.
stuff. Yeah. Well, they weren't. They were weird moguls. They had these
I-
weird.
I hated to have to wait for all those other people, so I would start
Really?
the moguls, and then I would like get lost, and I would just go in, and then I would skate with whoever was in the bowl at the time.
Well, this
So-
bowl was tricky because
Yeah.
people were snaking all the time.
Yeah, I know.
And
That's
one
what I
wall-
mean.
the one wall was flat.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
never hit vert, and then the other wall that was my skating.
yeah.
Or the
But I
back
just-
overbowl.
Yeah, but I don't remember too many people just doing like power slides, like birds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's just because of the nature of the lip
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it had a round lip on it, but it was, I mean, that was what we had, and to be honest, the next park that came along was really Home Avenue, and it was worse than that one in my opinion. But
Well, unless you
know,
want to skate the reservoir on the
Yeah.
flat.
exactly, yeah, exactly.
But the snake runs, those are funky, man.
Yeah, those things were really,
Where is this?
yeah.
Moving on skate park is at Home Avenue off 805 freeway.
We were just talking about.
Wait a minute. This isn't Home Avenue right here.
No, we were
this
talk-
picture.
We're talking about the funky snake runs and stuff at
Oh
Home
yeah,
Avenue.
yeah. Those things.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this picture right here. That looks like
Oh, Brad Bowman.
yeah,
He
Oxnard or
slammed
something.
the hell out of me. And
Yeah.
look at that. He's got Phoenix trucks, doesn't he? No.
Those are-
They were going, so
Oh yeah, no, those are Phoenix.
I think so.
Yeah, those are Phoenix.
For a short time.
Yeah.
But I told Brad to go for it. I mean, I was sponsored by Canon at the time, so I could afford to have my camera gear broken.
Mhm. Well, anyway, so yeah, so you took, I don't know, thousands of pictures back then, and that was at a time when we didn't have digital cameras. We had to pay to get them all
Right.
processed and done
And you had to wait a week to even
had
see
to
what
wait.
you shot.
to see if you had anything.
Yeah.
So at what time did you actually get to like, where skateboarders start getting involved in it? How did you afford to do all that, man? You were just a kid like all of us.
Well, I worked a regular job, support myself before I actually could make a living with skateboarding. But it was just out of pocket.
Yeah.
And of
Wow.
course, I had to watch because I estimated just about a quarter a shot for every shot that I took. So I had to think about. In my head, I had to know the shot I wanted before I clicked the shutter
Yeah.
because I just didn't have the money.
Yeah, man.
Until I started working for skate. But even after I started working for Skateboarder, they paid for our film, but not the processing.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
still paying, and they did put us on salary, the main
Yeah.
staffers like me and
Right.
Craig Feynman.
Yeah.
But it's on staff. On salary plus per photo,
Yeah.
and they also paid for articles. So I wrote articles, and I did some Who's Hots. I was just looking through those the other day because I couldn't remember if I'd done yours. I saw I'd done like Eric Grisham's and I can't even remember all the people, but I was looking at all the.
How did you
different-
guys decide on who gets the Who's Hot? You know, I was talking about that with somebody. I can't remember.
It just
but,
came from Bolster.
is that right?
Bolster, yeah.
Bolster's like, hey, who'd you guys hear is ripping right now? And
yeah, and if we were good friends with a particular person, like I don't know if I did Brad Bowman because we were close
yeah,
friends.
I think you did actually.
Yeah, I think I probably did his.
Yeah.
But sometimes Castmas wanted to have his photos in there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't get to have my photos with my buddies Who's Hot that I'd done.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, I don't mean to bitch about that, but it was.
No, you can bitch about it, man. It was 40 years ago. Right now, it's the perfect time.
I did Vicky Vickers' interview, and they didn't end up using any of my photos of her. Wow. And she was really unhappy about that because Vicky and I were really close. Yeah. So it's just the way it was, a lot of politics. So they just say what they were going to do. And sometimes there was manufacturer pressure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like GNS would say, you know, we're not getting a lot of coverage in the mag, but we're doing all this advertising.
Right.
Or same with Sims, or same with Santa Cruz, or, you know, it didn't matter. Yeah. And then there was always that up north, down south, not the skaters, but the manufacturers, Santa Cruz, NHS, Indy, and then the whole down south scene. And they always felt they were getting shafted with coverage. Because Stevie Cab was there, a whole bunch of North Cal guys, excellent skaters. But they had Bob Denike, and then, Bob Denike.
Yeah, Denike.
Who was shooting, and Mofo was shooting.
Oh, that's right. Denike was shooting. I remember that.
Yeah, so they were covering up there with the guys, but they were complaining because Warren Bolster wouldn't allow anybody who was shooting for Skateboarder, and I get that because me and Feynman were on staff, to shoot for another publication. So we couldn't get any of our photos published in Thrasher or Wide World of Skateboarding or Skateboard World or any of the other mags.
Okay. Well,
well, we're employees.
That's crazy because I did see some photos sent to me that had Wide World of Skateboarding covers on it, and you know, there was some. Yeah, I remember seeing. I was like, I didn't know Jim shot for those guys, so that must have been pre.
Well, it could have been later, or the slides, because I used to give slides away a lot of times to the people I was shooting, like yourself.
Right.
And sometimes those slides just got shared with Thrasher or one of the others.
I didn't do it.
And I didn't have any control over that. But Warren didn't last very long at the mag after he hired me.
Right.
Like he hired me January 78, but by September, October, it was like into the end of summer or fall when he got fired. So suddenly he's gone, and I don't remember if it was Brian Galogly or Dave Morin came in at one point. I think Brian Galogly was editor after that. I've sort of forgotten.
For a short period of time. When did Castmas take over? That must have happened like right
he was
that.
Photo editor all the way through.
Okay, so he was a photo editor.
Yeah, up to Action Now, and probably. But I left when it turned into Action Now. I said I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know, I said I'm done. Well, we were having a hard time making a living anyway, because first they cut our salary when into 79, late 79, the industry was starting to go into recession. So they cut our salaries first, and then they started sending me on assignments to do roller skating and BMX and other stuff to, you know, and I just said, you know, I'm not really into this stuff, but we just couldn't get enough photos published in the magazine to make enough money really to.
Okay, two things then. So Pepsi team back then, did you go shoot like any of the Pepsi
well, I would
things
shoot,
or whatever?
I'd go to some of the demos, but I wasn't assigned to shoot the Pepsi guys.
All right.
So I don't know, maybe Glenn Miyota was working more with the Pepsi guys.
I had no idea Glenn was involved back then.
Glenn Miyota?
Yeah.
Yeah, going back, I think back as far as I go.
Wow.
I think so.
How come he still looks like he's about 35?
I know, right?
What's wrong with that?
That bastard just won't age.
I remember meeting him. I don't know, and he sent a photo of me, and I was just like, "Wow, how did he get this? Like, who took this?"
Yeah,
you know. And he was like, "I did." I'm like, "You were around back then?"
He was similar to like Lance Smith. He was always there as a skater and shooting, but he just didn't.
You know, I think he might have been at the Colorado contest. I can't remember, but I remember actually seeing him at like once or twice. But he was really quiet, wasn't he? Like I don't remember ever like talking to him.
And he had ties with Hobie.
Okay.
He was a really close tie. I don't know if they considered him a staff photographer or anything, but I know I'm not as familiar with Glenn because I didn't know him well back then.
Right.
And, I'm always like on the rollout deck or something,
Yeah,
shooting.
yeah.
So unless somebody comes up and plops down next to me or something.
Get out of my way. Hey, you just screwed up my angle.
Well, I tried to
Get
be
back
cool
out.
with the other photographers, unless you had a photographer friggin' sticking their camera down in the bowl, right? I'm all lined up, and they're sticking their, without even looking through the viewfinder, sticking their camera down in the bowl, and they've just completely killed my shot, and probably pissed off the skater, because the skater now has to avoid that camera. So it was a real crap show at times out there. But then they started getting, in the beginning, it was just the Wild West, but they started getting more organized, and then they'd start kind of doing press passes or, well, who are you shooting for? Like they just they weren't just letting any kid in there on the deck. And the skaters didn't want like a crowd on the deck anyway, because when people started doing rollouts and stuff like that, nobody wants somebody in their way.
That's right.
It's hard enough for us pros.
Yeah. Well,
staying out of the way.
Yeah, that happened to me once. After I told all the photographers, like, hey, get out. And there was one that stuck and left all this crap there and screwed up a run of mine. So anyway, I should have gone Steve Alva on it. Just been like, I want another run. Anyway, but I never did. Okay, so we're shooting skateboard. I mean, you've been around the United States shooting, in my opinion. But I know you started out and you got your roots started here and started dialing everything in. And it was like, I mean, that had to have been like early 76, late 76, 77, because after that, I saw a lot of photos that you sent in from Dogtown days and all the Dogtown guys. And that was in the 77.
Sometime in 77, even before I got on Skateboarder. I don't remember. I think I just clicked with some of the Dogtowners when they come down La Costa.
Okay.
Plus, all the skate parks were starting to be built up in LA. So, of course, I got to go hit those up. Skatopia, I don't remember the whole sequence with the parks. Whittier, Lakewood. And so I just started going up there, following the skate parks. And those guys are skating there. So then they'd invite me. Oh, I missed the shot.
No.
They invited me. Hey, why don't you come out to the Dog Bowl, or why don't you come out to Gonzales Bowl or stuff? Yeah, I mean, Tony took me around. Tony Alva, he'd take me around to some spots. But I hung out with like even Paul Hoffman. He was on GNS, and we got to be good friends. And he was way low key for a Dogtowner, right? Well, so was Stacy.
He's not as low key anymore. He likes to voice his opinion now.
Oh yeah,
no question about it.
Big time. Well, we used to be kind of allies on social media.
Yeah.
When you get into some of those like controversial topics and stuff, Paul was.
I don't know anything about that stuff, Jim. I like to hit and run, cause controversy on that, and then bail.
Well, I should have hit and run more often. Yeah.
Just hit and run and don't even look at it for 2 weeks, and then come back and just laugh at it, like, oh well.
Yeah.
So I don't care.
But I started spending a lot of time up in LA, and the GNS team, they were not happy.
Yeah.
Well, the San Diego riders in general.
Yeah, we were pretty pissed off.
Yeah, and I got that. But I was having a lot of fun.
We when your car came in, all of a sudden it was keyed and stuff, and everybody knew your 64.5 blue Mustang.
Well, by then I may have totaled my Mustang, and I was I think it was a 74 Super Beetle.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, let's go back to before you totaled your car, because I remember that.
Oh, I love that car.
Okay. Well, I just remember looking at the car when it was totaled. Like, what did you hit? A telephone pole at about 75 miles an hour or something? Because that front end was so jacked.
Man.
I
was driving home from a friend's house. We'd been smoking out, so I was a little bit high. Weed. I mean, everybody was. Wasn't that unusual? But I wouldn't say I was blitz. But it was later at night. Like we had partied for a while and hung out, and I'm heading home at night, and there was a street in El Cajon, that's East San Diego County, that went from like a wide, I think 2 lanes each way or something. I don't remember. But anyway, it narrowed down into a narrow lane, and it was really narrow. So if the cars parked on the side were not right on the curb, it's a tight fit with the center lane. Anyway, suddenly this big Cadillac jumps out at me out of nowhere. It was parked.
Okay.
and I didn't see it till the last second because it was out from the curb a ways, and I turned, but my tire caught its left passenger side tire, and it pulled me into the car.
How fast were you going?
Oh, probably not more than 35, 40.
That amount of damage.
It's a Cadillac, and the Mustang. It's not like the beefier Mustangs now.
Yeah,
those were
they're all plastic back now. Back then, man, that thing was all metal.
But it just grabbed it in such a way that it just completely pushed in that whole front, and it tweaked the frame because it just hit in such a way. And the only thing I was thinking of is after it happened was, holy crap, what am I going to do with my bong when the cops show up?
Yeah.
Well, I had a little compartment in the Mustang where the vent was. It was a door you pull out down in the where your feet are, and you pull that out, and there's like a opening in there, and I could stick my bong up in there. So I thought, that I was paranoid, thinking the cops are going to know the door is there and they're going to find it. And anyway, the insurance company totaled it because it's a classic car, so the cost to find the parts and everything. So anyway, so they totaled it, and then weird story with that one. I took it to a junkyard and tried to get some scrap for it, which that was really painful to leave it there. And then I found out years later, I got a call from the cops saying your car was involved in an accident, and I guess there was damages and there's some lawsuits. I don't know. There's like some kind of legal issues, and they said, and we need to talk to you about that with your car. And I said, what car? I haven't had any accident. And they go, you own a 65 Mustang? And I said, yeah, but I totaled that like years ago or a couple years ago, whatever it was. And he goes, so you're telling me you don't own that car anymore? And he goes, well, did you sell it? Like, you know anything about it? I said, no, you need to go talk to that junkyard. Yeah. Because one of the guys that worked there had refurbished it, fixed it up, and was driving it around unregistered.
Nice.
So your name. So it's still registered to me, yeah. So, it's like insult to injury with losing that car. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I just remember seeing it. You actually took a picture of it, and I don't know, you showed it.
It was across.
You showed it to me, and I was just like,
it was across the street from the junkyard.
Yeah.
It looks worse than it was.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've had worse accidents.
Do you know if the bong broke? I mean, was it okay?
No, the bong was fine. Bong survived.
So funny. I didn't even know you smoked back then. I didn't know any. I mean, I only know a few people who.
Well, you can't hang with Dennis Martinez very long and not.
I hung out with him all the time.
Well, no, I didn't. I didn't smoke. I didn't smoke for a long time. I wasn't afraid of it so much as I just thought. I don't know why I didn't, but I just didn't. Everybody else is smoking around me, and I just didn't. And it wasn't until me and Pineapple and Dennis Martinez and maybe Billy Ruff, or maybe Neil.
Whoa, man. We don't want Larry Gordon to know. To find out, like, what? Those guys were smoking on my time? What?
Well, we were smoking in the car. We were heading up to Upland for a session, and I hadn't smoked before, so I didn't know how to handle the weed. And anyway, Dennis is passing around. He always had the gnarliest stuff. And I took a couple of hits, and of course, Pineapple would always pass it on.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't touch it.
Yeah.
And I got
good for Doug.
Yeah. Yeah. He did in Catalina too. Yeah. The problem is in Catalina. Well, I should finish with Upland first. Okay. None of those photos came out because I was just too screwed up. But in Catalina, Doug. Yeah. But in Catalina for the Catalina Classic in '77, went over with the GNS team. GNS put us up in a hotel. The problem with Doug not smoking is that when we were passing the joint around, he put it in the ashtray, and then we forgot that it wasn't being passed around anymore. And then we got up and went out to the contest, and it got left in the ashtray. And when the maid came around to clean the room, it was very illegal then. And it's Catalina Island, and it's private property. I didn't realize that at the time. And they threatened to kick us off the island, not just have us arrested, but kick us off the island. That was a whole new experience. But Dave McIntyre came along, and I don't know if he paid off the manager of the hotel or owner or what he did, but he talked him out of.
Yeah.
I think we still got kicked out and had to go to another hotel, but I don't remember. But
that's funny.
Yeah.
Dennis.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Too much, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get back. So you're, my biggest thing is the biggest area that I, miss on it was like your whole Dogtown thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know you became friends with TA, with Tony, and that had to be special because TA was TA.
Yeah.
At
well,
that time,
the
Tony
thing
was a
is-
different person then than he was now.
Well,
you know.
plus in the public, he was more of an asshole, and when it was
Yeah.
just the two of us hanging,
Okay.
he was totally chill.
Yeah.
So he was a good friend. I mean, he could be an asshole, but he was chill to hang out with.
Yeah, yeah.
Except when you got in a crowd.
Yeah, he
Uh,
was.
Jay
yeah.
was sort of that way all the time.
Oh, really?
But then,
Okay.
yeah, pretty much. Well, I wouldn't say an asshole, just overly hyper.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
you
that's not the same.
No, well,
Overly hyper is. Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, I should be a little bit.
Yeah.
more
Well,
careful
I'm
with
just
my
saying,
wording.
like, I mean, it was funny. I only had like a couple times I hooked up or met up with Tony. One was at the Marina Dog Bowl.
Yeah.
Not the real one.
Oh, right.
Okay, the replica. All
Yeah.
right, and skating with him and stuff. And honestly, he just he wouldn't talk to anybody, except for his maybe one or two people. That was it. The rest
the
of us weren't even there.
Right.
And-
Well, the one thing I learned about Tony, though, was he was on this pinnacle that nobody else was. Kind of like Tony Hawk is now.
Yeah.
Like he's so well known.
Yeah.
And the problem is he had people that were always challenging him.
Hmm.
Because if I take it, the pecking order thing, if I take out Tony or I beat him in some way or I just get in a fight or whatever.
Mm.
So he was always, and I don't want to stick up for his total asshole behavior. But at the same time, Tony was facing a lot of
Oh, I'm sure people.
challenges
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Like the time in 76 or 77, he came out to the El Cajon skate park. And I didn't know Tony that well yet,
Yeah.
but I sessioned with him. I was shooting some photos, and he showed up with a patch over his eye. And of course, I asked Tony, is this like
Yeah.
a fashion thing or like
Yeah.
what is? And found out that he'd gotten in a fight with some guy who was challenging him over something. But Tony had a mouth, so he had
Yeah.
it coming.
Yeah.
But he got in a fight with some guy, and the guy bapped him in the head so hard it screwed up the muscle in his eye.
Wow.
So his eye was like looking over here.
Oh, wow.
So he had to blindfold it, otherwise he'd fall down when he was trying to walk. That
Wow.
was pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, I believe it because I remember going to a pool in San Diego, a backyard pool back in the day, and it was owned by a friend of mine. And he let everybody skate,
Yeah,
and we were sitting in the shallow, and he didn't really see me or recognize me. I was just kind of hanging out,
yeah.
and he came in and told everybody to get out and F off, and
Wow.
he kicked this one kid out, and the kid was the best friend of the guy who owned the pool.
Damn.
And then the owner came out and was like, "Look, man," and pretty much threatened Tony.
That's
and then
hardcore.
and then Tony took his last ride, and then Tony bailed on it.
Well, Tony's
That was
up in
kind of funny. I was just like, "Wow, Tony, you're getting pretty punk with this guy when he owns the house." And Tony had no
Right.
idea because these guys were young that owned the
Well,
house.
in LA,
you know?
Tony was used to basically claiming pools. Well,
Yeah.
the Dogtowners in general.
Yeah,
And I get that because we're getting busted all the time.
yeah,
So you get it like a cool permission pool, like
Yeah.
Gonzalez pool or
Yeah.
Dog Bowl, and you just don't want to screw that up.
yeah, right, absolutely.
Did you get to skate Gonzalez?
So I never did.
Skated it?
Oh.
I know you photographed it, but did you skate it?
No, I didn't skate it.
Yeah, I never got an opportunity to go skate that pool, but I just remember Tony doing that, and I just thought, man, that's pretty punk for Tony to do this.
But they would
'Cause the
do
owner-
that with people in the
Yeah.
LA pools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next time I saw Tony, what was it? Actually, I had a really good conversation with him. Talked about old times and skateboarding, and
Yeah.
completely different person.
Oh, Tony,
man. And
yeah,
I
very
was just
different.
like,
Very
wow, Tony, it's
different
so
now.
nice to have a real conversation, without
Yeah.
like that animosity between like down south and Dogtown thing,
Right.
that was going on back
Right.
then. I don't know if you ever saw it. I don't know if you ever saw any fights back in the day.
Well,
Um,
it didn't really
know.
exist for the way Stesic wrote it. You know,
Okay.
he made up most of that hype just for good copy. I
I
mean-
mean, Stesic or Stacy?
Stesic.
Okay.
Oh, did I say Stacy?
No, I
you
did.
said Stesic.
No,
Oh,
I did.
No, I meant Craig Stesic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he created that just because it was good copy.
Yeah.
And of
okay.
course, if you read any of his Dogtown articles, they're all about the mystique and the
Yeah,
magic and whatever of Dogtown.
Yeah.
And if Craig hadn't come along with that, the Dogtowners would have been just another rad group of skaters in another community, right?
Yeah.
So that's what really put them on the map, and with the photos, of course.
Well, I thought those guys were all like surfers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially guys like Nathan Pratt.
Oh yeah.
Always Stacy.
I mean, Nathan, like, what he stopped like after skating what Paul Revere. Like, I don't think he ever. I don't remember him ever skating a pool, or I've never saw him in it.
Yeah.
Maybe the original Dog Bowl. I think I saw a picture of him there.
Yeah, I think he just didn't. I've never talked to him about it, but I think he just sort of didn't. The skating got popular.
Yeah.
That just wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't all that happy about the popularity of skateboarding either. I kind of like the grassroots,
Yeah.
not popular with the public, sort of that, anti-establishment.
Oh yeah.
Not that I was a big rebel myself, but, I was a bit of a wuss.
Well, I mean, that's what made it cool back there, though, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kids today don't have a clue about how it was back then, and that's kind of why I
Yeah.
like to do this kind of stuff, because it kind of tells, like, you know what, back then, man, the LA guys hated the San Diego guys for whatever reason,
Yeah.
and now it's all one big brotherhood. Like, hey,
Right.
bro, what's up, man?
Right,
How's it going?
right.
Back then, man. I mean, I know I got my ass kicked,
Yeah.
and I didn't dig it, but I stood up to
Yeah.
the people who did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, there was a
but-
purity in the beginning. Like when I first started skating, my brother started skating and his best buddy, and they made me an aluminum board, just cut it out, drilled a bunch of holes in it because to give it some flex, because it'd be too stiff otherwise. Put some Metaflex or something, skinny little trucks, loose ball bearing, clay wheels.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I took off. My brother was no good at teaching me
Well, wait a
anything.
minute. I didn't even know you had a brother. So,
Yeah, my
okay.
younger brother.
Okay.
So that he's the one who got me into it, but we didn't have any contests, or there was no scene really quite yet. At least I didn't know. So when I go to the parks or looking for hills or whatever to skate, I didn't have a clue, speed wobbles, until I actually started down the hill. And of course, with clay wheels, you can't, if there's one little pebble, you're dead.
Yeah.
Superman time.
Yeah, or they
So-
slide out.
Yeah.
You just
So
lose
nobody
them.
warned me about that, but there was a purity. I didn't know any skaters. I didn't know how to learn how to do it. I just started rolling, right?
Okay.
And there's a purity about that, the wind in your hair, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
That's what excited me.
How old were you then?
Oh, I was older than most of the guys at my time. I think I was around 21 or so.
Okay. What year was that? I'm just trying to figure it out.
1976.
So I don't just say, Jim, how old are you now?
68.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You're 68.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Wow, good for you, man.
That's what Brittany said.
Wow, good for you. Yeah, I was just gonna say, because I
Well-
thought you were like 64, 65.
I mean,
I thought you were like a couple years older than me, but
I exercise, I try to eat well, but in the end, I think it's just good genetics.
yeah.
My mom's 94 and she looks like she's maybe 80 tops.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
80 sounds incredibly old, but
No, it doesn't, man. It's around the corner.
well, maybe because I never got married either. I
Yeah.
mean, that'll age you.
No, not a chance, man. Not a chance. That shit never happens.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
us better and stronger and everything else.
But
Okay.
I miss those earliest days just because of the simplicity and it wasn't adulterated with anything else. There's no motivation except for the pure act of skateboarding. And I remember that here's almost 45 years later, and I remember it like it was yesterday.
Isn't that crazy?
There's not that many
That's the
things.
first, man. There's something wrong here, Because most of the guys come in 40 years, man. They're like, Dave, why are you asking me this? I have no idea what you're talking about. I can't remember back 30 years. And
There
now-
has not been a single thing. I mean, I've had a good life,
Yeah.
but there's not been one single thing in my life besides skateboarding that has stayed with me. Even when I left skateboarding in the skateboard scene in 1986, when I quit
Yeah.
Transworld Skateboarding Mag, there's not been a single other thing in my life that has impacted me and been such a prominent part of my life as skateboarding, even when I was out of the scene.
Okay.
There hasn't been anything compares to that.
All right. I got something then. So in
Yeah.
86, you left Transworld,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And when did you start working for Goldwing as a manager, team manager there? Was that
Well,
before?
Well, I started Skateboarder Mag January 78. And then they went to Action Now in May of 1980. That was their first.
Do you have any of those?
issue.
You don't have any of those, do you?
No, 1980.
Ah,
Well, that was the.
No, it was 81.
No, it was 80.
Go get my box of skateboard magazines.
I guarantee you. Well, but what the month was on
we put
the.
money on this because we put
Okay.
money, we can get the back out.
Okay,
right
wait a
now.
minute. You know what? He's right. He's
The-
right. You know why? Because I remember.
But we were
I
always
need the
3 months.
February of
We were
Action
always
Now.
3 months behind.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Because it took us 3 months to do an issue.
Right.
But the May issue was the first Action Now.
Okay.
White, different back.
I think
Something
Orton.
like
I think Orton is on the cover with his lassoing his girl.
I just know I
That
was really depressed. But I'd been working with Gullwing because they're a San Diego company.
July of '80 was the last issue of Skateboarder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
I'm sure of it. That was my last issue. Was my interview.
Well, I just know that I quit Skateboarder.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave my notice in May of 1980.
Okay, because that's when it ended.
And
oh,
then,
May, April, May, June, July. Okay, because July was the last issue, so that was the last issue
Yeah.
of it.
Well, I
Came out.
quit it. I could have quit in April or something, but
Yeah.
I orient to May because that was the issue they went to Action Now.
Okay.
So to me, that was like, okay, see you guys. It's been a nice ride. It's gone. It's over.
Yeah, I'm looking for the February issue of in '81 of Action Now. That's what
I
I
didn't
was looking for.
Keep much track.
You used to have all the mags. You had like copies
I had
and copies
the entire.
and copies.
I had the
of all of
entire
them.
collection,
Still do.
mint condition. No.
Oh,
Wait till you hear
shit.
this.
Oh, good.
Okay, so I leave in '86, and I'm thinking, okay, it's a whole new generation coming in, or was coming in, like
Right.
especially very late '80s into the '90s, guys that I didn't know, brand new
Right.
guys, just like
Right,
the
right.
early
Yeah, yeah.
'80s
Yeah.
when Neil and the
Everybody came
Bones
on the
Brigade
scene.
came
yeah.
in, yeah, that era, and so it was. I just remember thinking nobody is gonna care. They're not gonna give a damn about us old timers, right? Because there's a whole new generation. So I
Right.
thought, okay, pass it off to them, go for it. And it's not like I didn't care any less about skateboarding. I just didn't have the connection anymore.
Right.
So I had to get on with my life. I had to find out what I was going to do with my life and earn a living and whatnot. So I got really detached from that. But in the process, I've got all these boards that guys had given me, their signature
Right,
models,
right,
and
right,
they'd signed them and stuff,
Right.
and I had them for years. And they were all under my bed. And I had all these other things. And I thought, I care about this.
Yeah.
It's my life. But nobody's going to care about this. So my magazine collection, I had in those albums that are designed to hold mags, like
Yes.
little wire
Yep.
things. And so I had them all, and they took up all this space on my bookcase. And as I'm getting more books, and I'm running out of room, and I'm thinking, I don't look at those anymore. Great memories, but I still had all my slides and stuff too. And I looked at them, and I thought, what can I do with these? There's too many to go through because I don't know how many issues it was. And because it's going back to 1975,
Yeah.
not just the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
And so I thought, what do I do with these? I want to appreciate them. So, but I bet if I cut the covers and then cut the best, well, let me finish.
This is already going south.
I know.
bad.
And cut out the best pictures, the best ads, like crypto when they came in with their classic ads, things like that, and the best articles. And I'll cut them all out and I'll put them into or plastic pages, and then I can preserve them and I can easily flip through and just see the best of Skateboarder, right? Thinking these magazines had no value
Oh, man.
to anybody.
Yeah.
And then find out that now they're selling for 10 grand or 15 grand, for a complete set. But
Oh,
Steve,
yeah,
Steve
complete set.
Cathy had a complete set.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, at
Okay.
one point I told him he wanted to sell it for more, but I said, well, I was trying to think of how to, I don't know what he eventually did with them, but he had a complete set.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I remember Steve having them, but I'm sure he still has them.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I even gave away all the boards. Those boards are selling for thousands of dollars
I
now.
know, man.
But I'd see a kid skating on the street, and I wouldn't want to talk to him, seem like a molester or something. But I'd go, have a trash board or something. I go, could you use this board? Because
Yeah.
they're sitting collecting dust under my bed now. and I'd give away these boards that are now worth thousands of dollars.
Yep. No, I
But
did the same thing.
you
So
know
it's all
what? Life
good.
happens.
I had my cherished thing was this Alva jacket that I had. Remember when Alva did clothing?
Yeah.
It was, I think he did it for like a year. And I got that thing and I kept it. I was so stoked that I got it. Wore it to all the little clubs and stuff back in the day that we were chasing, and I put it away, and then when I moved out, you know, I remember my mom telling me, "You better get in here and get all this crud out of here. I want it
Right.
all out of my house."
Right.
And I was like, yeah, Mom, don't worry, you know, relax. And
Yeah.
she went and threw everything away, all my stuff, man. And came home one time. I'm like, Mom, I was gonna get that stuff. She's like, oh, sorry, you're gonna have to go to the Goodwill and find it. I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, I gave it to the Goodwill. I mean, like, if
That must
somebody's
be
out
a-
there looking at that jacket and found that Alva jacket,
That
that
must
thing
be
would have to
a
be worth
that must be a
bank.
thing because I not with skateboards because I got into it really after I moved out of the house.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
didn't have any stuff, but I did leave my old comic books there
No.
too.
and in the closet, and I guess everybody did.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, that was from my childhood. I'm not going to look at them again. Just throw them away.
Yeah.
And my mom, she just wouldn't because she thought, I bet he's going to want them some point. Kept them for years. Well, I went to a trade show. It was actually a money and a comic book trade show one time. And I saw one of them that I could recognize
Yeah.
that was selling for like 10 grand or some insane amount of money. And I thought, I've got that at home.
Yeah.
So I called my mom up after the show and I said, Mom, are those still in the closet? Because it'd been years
Yeah.
that I'm telling her to throw them away and they were
Yeah.
still there. And I said, I just tossed those.
Yeah. Oh man. Missed
So,
it by
yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
No.
So life happens. So I try not to hold on to stuff too much. Most of the stuff I value more for its historical value that I can leave to the museum or something like that. But yeah.
Well, I wish I had something to leave behind. I have a couple boards left. That's it. I had I don't know if there's a guy, Dave Skates, up in Santa Barbara,
Yeah,
and he was like, Dave, if you have anything, just bring me all your old stuff. I'll take it.
he's a collector.
Yeah. And
Wow.
little did I know, I gave it to him, man, and it all hit eBay, and you
I know, right?
That made him money.
I didn't
and
even.
then he disappeared. I have no idea what happened to him.
I didn't even take a few sets of
Yeah.
Going trucks with me when I left there.
Oh man, you know what? I gotta.
And
yeah,
now the originals are selling for a ton.
yeah.
It's insane.
You know what? I
Yeah,
have
it makes me feel old.
I have a set still. It's a very special set of Gullwing trucks, and
Yeah.
they're titanium magnesium together.
Really?
And there was only 70 sets made, and Walt made them, put them in a box with a gold thing in it. Like it's
Wow.
dressed up, and it's
I
beautiful.
never even heard about that.
And I think I have like I think mine's like 27 or 26 or something.
Yeah.
And I was talking.
I
Paul
can
was
only
the
I got
most
the best.
awesome guy. But
Wi-Fi, we're offline. Wi-Fi just cut us.
oh man, not the Wi-Fi.
Yep. And we're back.
Okay, we're back. Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching Skateboard Nation. Sorry, the internet just went down for some reason, and they're doing a lot of work in the area, so maybe that has something to do with it. Not 100% sure, but hopefully that doesn't happen again. If there's a hiccup, well, we're going to keep talking for another hour at least. Because I haven't even gotten to my questions yet, or we haven't even really shown any of the pictures that Jim has. Jim sent in like 162 photos. You're
Well,
supposed to
plus-
talk about all 162 photos.
Plus the math. Well, I forgot about checking the slides.
No, I
that
haven't
you-
put them up. But what I'm
No,
thinking about
yeah.
doing is just putting. We're
Yeah.
talking about the '70s. Let's put it up and let you guys talk. And
Yeah,
Okay.
if you
no
want-
worries.
If you want to say, tell me to stop on
Yeah.
that photograph, and we can talk about that photograph.
yeah. So-
I'm gonna start with.
Started up with I think it's PEs.
My old camera case.
Yeah,
camera case.
old camera case, man.
You know,
Look at
that's got a story behind it.
Oh.
When Neil Blender was getting into photography, well, a lot of the guys were.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, on the side, Lance Mountain,
yeah.
especially with Transworld, since they were contributors. Anyway, I'd had this case. This case had gone like around the world, and it was just trashed. And some of them are my original stickers that I put on there. But anyway, so Neil was getting into it, and I wanted to get a new case because this one was getting trashed. And I said, "Well, Neil, can you use this for your camera and stuff?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." So I gave it to him, and then I totally lost track of it. And I think I got out of skateboarding a little bit after that anyway. Anyway, Neil used it for a while, and the story is that he gave it to Lance. Lance used it for a while, and then I don't know where it went from there, but Chip Morton, who was a local at Del Mar Skate Park, Chip Morton was a friend of mine, and decades later, I'm on the phone with Chip, which he contacted me through a private message on Facebook or something, I don't remember, because we'd been out of touch. He says, you know, I've got your camera case. And I thought this thing didn't exist anymore, right? It's just gone. He says, do you know I said, no. There's no way you have that case. And I don't remember who he said he got it from, but it had made the rounds, and he ended up with it, and it's just sitting in his garage or somewhere. He didn't really care to have it anymore. He says, do you want that back? And I said, hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it came back to me 30-something years later.
Wow. After
going, who knows, Neil and Lance and who knows.
All right, here's a stupid question. You still have it?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I almost was going to bring it.
under your bed.
Yeah. No, it's in my closet. I was almost going to bring it today.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
But I've still got it.
Yeah.
Kona Pool, Dave Hackett.
Yeah.
I love bail shots. I don't remember if Dave, now those boards were heavy. That was like a warp tail, the original warp tail, that's a solid piece of wood. And those, and man, that thing hits you, it's going to knock you out. And I don't remember. The VC Reservoir, Valley Center Reservoir, Dave Hackett.
That's an amazing photo there.
Yeah. Then they offered the California Freeformer contest. They offered, that was Dennis on the ramp. They offered anybody who could hit the word professional or somewhere near the top.
Yeah.
$100 or something, which is a lot of
That's
money.
Huge
in the
back
70s.
then.
Yeah. If you could hit it.
Yeah.
And everybody's going nuts trying to get up there. But there was no, I mean, this transition
I know,
up
man.
to the,
yeah,
it was insane.
It was super jacked up.
It was all vert.
But I think Orton was the one who front-sided it and got up to it.
I think George,
I think Orty got in there.
That was the opening of the PB Surf Shop.
Yeah. This is a great little flower bowl.
Yeah, I don't know how we got permission on that, but that's the entire team.
Team right there, yeah.
Stacy, Pineapple, Paul Hoffman, Bobby Frost, Bobby Shea, Dave McIntyre's on the far right in the red shirt. He was the team manager. Debbie Gordon, Larry's daughter.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Aiken and Bobby
Boyden?
Lieras.
Oh,
Mikey Lieras.
Mikey. Little Mikey.
He's back there sitting on the coping.
Okay.
The Costa boys. We kind of thought we had a team, but we
you got to tell me who these guys are, because I only know one of them. Yeah.
We just made this up because we thought we were cool and we weren't sponsored.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Greg Ty on the far right.
Okay.
He's gone now.
Yeah.
I don't remember who he was sponsored with. And then I can't remember. Pat Flanagan, I think, is the guy with the red helmet.
Okay.
From right going left.
Right.
And then Marty Schaub.
Okay.
I can't remember who he was sponsored with. Steve Sherman.
Yeah.
Who was a GNS rider. And then that's me on the far left.
Yeah. Sherman was the only one of the riders right there that I recognized, that I remember.
Yeah.
There was another guy, too. I can't remember who it was.
Kim Suspides at the Escondido Reservoir.
Escondido,
I found out where that is.
This is right here.
Wait a minute, let's go back to that. Is this still? I thought it was demolished.
No, it's gone.
Yeah.
But where it was, I found out. Yeah, a girlfriend of mine lived just down the street from there, and I found out it was just literally
bulldozed or something.
Well, I can't remember the streets, but just east of here.
Okay.
From the 15. But yeah, and that was an MG commercial.
So who's this here? I can.
Left to right is Mark Bowden, Brian Beardsley in the middle, and then Ty Page, who's gone now.
Yeah, Ty was the only one I recognized, and that I don't know the other two
Well,
guys.
the guys on...
And that's La Costa right there.
Yeah, at the top of the hill, where a little bit of a slope. Yeah. But this was for an MG commercial. Okay. And the guys on the outside, I don't know which was harder, because the guys on... We had put little pebbles...
The guy in the middle was the hardest.
I think so, because
you judge that board.
Yeah, you got to push the board the right speed to match your own.
Right.
But with these guys, their boards would hit the wheels on the passenger.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha.
And then we put tiny little pebbles just to hold the boards in place. And then you just land on them.
All right. Was that a make or was that a bail? How many bailed?
They could make it, but they had lots of bails.
Okay, I figured that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a fun bail either because you're not going. You're having to run, and you got to run downhill.
That was Marty Grimes at Oxnard. That last shot.
Yeah.
Paul Hackett.
Oh, stop this one. We got to talk about this.
There was. Yeah. If you go back,
I want to freaking know why I didn't get to go on that trip.
Well, I was hanging out in Malibu. All that was up in Malibu. I was hanging out. I need to put this on airplane.
Okay, wait a second though. Isn't this the Arizona pipes?
That was.
Yeah, this is Arizona right here. I think that looks like Lane Lump, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
all right.
Oaks.
You know, Lane works right down the street here.
No way.
Yeah. He's like 2 blocks.
Wow.
I'll go stop in and harass him every now and then.
I don't know why he's still working.
I know, man. He just does it because he loves it. I know. He loves dealing with all the people, I think.
Lumpy.
But anyway.
Well, anyway, what was I saying? Oh,
okay, the pipes. I want to know about the pipes, okay? Because I never got to skate those pipes.
We got lucky. We went out there, and the guards were having a siesta or something.
They had guards out of the Arizona pipes?
Oh, yeah. The Amaron pipes?
Yeah.
Outside of Phoenix? Yeah, they had guards. There was a fence all the way around that. Because, they made the pipe. They were like 22 feet. They made the pipes. And after they made them, they had to just sit them on the desert floor to let them cure all that concrete.
Okay.
And then they had huge machines that would come in, pick up the pipes and move them over. And they're putting them underground to bring water to Southern California. That's what they were for. Or maybe other sources.
You got a really nice compliment. George had photos.
Oh, yeah. Hey, George.
Really inspiration. So he's watching right now.
Yeah. Hit George up and tell him thank you. And he rocks. He's one of the guys I always ask, hey, George, what's up out there, man? Thank you for the positive comments, and we appreciate it very much.
Go George.
I've been
talking to him in a while.
I've been talking to him online, saying, "Hey, check out the show and tell me how bad it is, and help us out here." So,
but I mean,
anyway.
I need to tell the story with this one. Okay. But the pipes, we got lucky, no guards.
Okay.
Most of the guys, they drive all the way out there and they get busted like 5 minutes after they're there.
Right.
So we got lucky. So we had a good set. Me, Steve, and Lane had a really good session there. I just remember when we first jumped the fence, you're looking at hundreds of these pipes.
Right.
And I remember my first reaction was, which one do I skate? It's as lame as that sounds.
Yeah.
Which one do I skate? And Steve and Lane had the same reaction.
Yeah.
You think, how am I going to skate this? What's it going to be like? I mean, it was surreal.
Did you guys drive from San Diego out there?
Yeah.
Just for the pipes?
Yep. Warren went out first, took Wally and some of the Bobby Piercy, some of the crew and stuff. And then I went out on my own because I never stepped on Warren
of course.
toes,
of course.
Shooting stuff.
Smart.
And I never had anything published of it because Warren dominated that, and that's cool. But that was amazing. And then when they put them underground, then we started skating the underground sections, which is difficult to photograph because
it's a little dark.
It's a black hole,
yeah.
and they're slippery, and there's enough slope on it that even walking you could slip. But man, if you lost your board in there, it just went into you hear it just going thump 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 thump, and it just disappears into the dark for miles if you go.
This is what the
only reason I asked
is
this one,
the Cal Jam.
The Cal Jam, with there's no lip, no nothing.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm hanging on with one hand because there's no deck. I'm hanging on with one hand.
It looks like it's almost 16 feet wide.
No,
or is it 8? 8? Okay.
It was like those early ramps are just horrible. No flat.
Yeah.
Anyway, the thing is, I'm hanging onto this rail with one hand and my camera with the other.
With the other one.
And every time he came up, the ramp would flex.
Yeah.
And I got this audience of 450,000 people out there. Of course, they're not all watching the skate thing. But they
were, man. We're just going to say they were all watching, Jim.
But the band was over here on the far left.
Yeah.
And they had some amazing bands there. And we watched women getting raped and drug deaths, people coming up and just keeling over and dying like at this event.
That is really messed up.
And I almost got my ass kicked by Hell's Angel. I made the mistake of walking out in the non-backstage area. I just didn't appreciate the volume, this Woodstock kind of volume. And this motorcycle guy comes up to me, sees my backstage pass that's like taped to my or stuck to my pants. He said, "Hey, give me that pass." Oh no! So I'm working. And he's going, come on, man. He's getting more aggressive, and I'm walking faster because there's a couple of guards right at the backstage thing. I'm just trying to get to those guards. And this guy's speeding up. I'm speeding up. And I turned to run, and there was like these railroad ties with the metal sticking like on top, like about head high. And I turned and hit one of those, gashed my head open, so now I got blood going in my eye, and I'm trying to get to the guards before this motorcycle guy kicks my ass and takes my pass. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. California Freeformer guys mostly. Laura Thornhill was there. Oh, this is some of the art made from my photos.
Right.
Danielle.
Yeah.
Danilo. I can't think of his last name, but yeah, Consalves or
the pro skater from that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about this one. Darren Slammer.
Yeah.
I could count on Darren for good slams.
Looks like Lakewood.
It was Lakewood half pipe. Yeah. I love that shot though. Actually, just the way the board's just floating there.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Like Darren got over here quite a bit.
And look at the dust on the
on the wheel,
on the lip there. Yeah, that's my favorite thing. Well, it's a gnarly shot.
And that's
but
actually pretty good to do from that drop in on the other side, because that was a bumpy, rough, horrible half pipe.
Well, it doesn't seem like a natural line to drop in from over here, to drop in and then hit this wall right where he hit it.
Yeah.
But Darren, he's an amazing skater.
Yeah.
Now he turned into Santa Claus.
He's still ripping, man.
Yeah.
He just had that knee surgery too. He's
Did he?
Yeah, he's talking about. I've been watching him on Facebook.
Dave was one of the few people that would let me experiment with my, and so I didn't like shooting sequences that much. You know, Casmus was doing that, and Warren Bolster, but I like to.
But they weren't doing this kind of photo work.
No. I pioneered this technique. Yeah. But I used the different color flashes to include. Of course, this is two different runs, but I'd have you hit the bowl at the same spot.
Yeah.
But I'd flash it and with the different colors so you could see the distinction. And I don't know how cool it is, but I had a lot of fun experimenting with that.
That was cool, man.
Yeah.
I was a part of it.
That was Spring Valley. Cool. Got slammed on this one too.
Yeah. That's a great photo. I mean, it was a centerfold.
It was centerfold.
Right there too.
You got a good memory.
And I didn't know that you had that picture of Ed with his quiver.
I shot a lot of the quiver shots.
Oh, did you? Okay.
But if you can you go back to that one with Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ed. There was like a broken glass. You know, people throw bottles, whatever, into this water.
Oh, his foot is bleeding.
Yeah. So he was bleeding. He had just stepped on a bottle or something.
Oh,
and it gashed his foot open. So his foot was bleeding like crazy. And he goes, don't worry about it. Let's just get the shot.
Yeah.
Which is okay with me.
Yeah, Ed's rad, man. That was a good dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, so, all right.
Ellen O'Neill.
We got Eleanor, rest in peace, girl.
Yeah, died way too young.
Okay, this is kind of funny.
This is quarters.
Okay.
We used to play quarter.
Wait a minute. Is that Gino and Stelmaski
Gino Tossi on the right.
Yeah.
The second Greg Weaver, GNS Greg Weaver.
Oh, that's Greg Weaver there. Okay.
Second Greg Weaver.
Pineapple?
Really?
That's Pineapple in the back. Steve Cowley and Billy in the red shirt.
Billy was probably drinking.
But we take the toilet lid off and we'd use it to bounce the quarters.
Oh, okay.
And the problem is, being the team coach, they're always going, swim, Goodrich, swim. And I didn't have much tolerance for alcohol, certainly not then. But yeah, fun times.
Where was that at?
Oh, God, I have no idea.
Oh, shoot, okay.
Now, this was fun. We were prank calling people. You get Billy Ruff, Jim Gray, and Neil Blender together, and there's always trouble.
That's Jim Gray?
Wow.
On the left there, yeah.
Wow.
But we were just prank calling.
I forgot about Gray back on GNS. He's going to be with us next week, I think, right?
Yeah,
next
really?
Week. Yeah, Gray's coming down.
Second Greg or first Greg?
Second. No, I'm sorry. Jim Gray.
Oh, awesome.
Jim Gray is. Yeah.
Awesome.
Second Greg Weaver's living in Florida now.
Oh, I didn't know he moved.
Yeah.
I sort of kept touch with him for a little while on social media, but
this was that picture that we were talking about.
Yeah.
When Dennis was in too.
Yeah. Well, nobody was interested in freestyle too much then, and so I was kind of trying to shoot a variety of things.
Was that your first cover?
Dennis, yeah.
Yeah.
First skateboarder cover.
Nice. That's a great photo.
Yeah,
And then your second
that
cover.
was my second one with Doug Saladino. That was when I started doing these color floodlights. I had the overpasses lit up too, but
Look at that, man. Yeah.
but that's the Freeway 8 and 805 freeway overpass, or the 805, the on ramp
Yes.
came over the park. The problem with that park was people would toss bottles and
Yeah,
crap
yeah. While you're skating.
out of their cars as they're driving
Hey,
over.
go back to that one real quick.
Yeah.
So anyway, on this photo here, I have a lot more respect for it doing that because I know that pool is black when you're skating it at night and you can't see the top.
And I felt sorry for those
like,
guys.
And what would happen is while you're skating, all of a sudden, because I did the same type of thing, and I just remember like all of a sudden you'd hit the top and then you'd get flashed in your face.
Yeah.
and then you had to land.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it was so sketchy,
the
man.
park was pitch black.
Yeah.
It was after hours. And I've got a shot in here of you that I actually like a little bit more because it shows the overpass lit up and everything.
Yeah.
And that was the only time I got myself on the cover of a magazine. I'm on the deck in the back.
Oh, you're on the deck.
Yeah,
I thought you shot this.
That be in front of the Power Flex.
No, that's me in front of. Yeah, I'm holding the camera, waiting for Tony to come around.
So you got a cover before I'd ever got one.
Well, and I didn't even know that till years later. Somebody said,
right?
"Do you know you're on a cover?" That's me and Craig Feynman. That's Shogo Skating.
Yeah.
I don't remember who shot the photo though.
That looks like Melpitas.
I think so. And this was Lane Oaks. Time exposure, I think it's a minute or two. The Mesa Skate Park. Lane Oaks was kind enough to carry a flare while he's skating, and we didn't think about the fact that flares spark and spit out. Yeah. And Lane got his clothes were trashed,
burned up,
and his skin burned.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lonnie Toft with his 8-wheeler.
That's
I think
awesome.
that was Big O.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looked like the little bowl, but the 10-foot bowl there.
Nicky Alva.
Yeah.
I mean, we get so bored down the road in the hotel rooms.
Yeah.
And that was, most people don't know, you have to fill up a pool after you plaster it to cure the plaster. So I was there that day when John Silver, and I can't remember all the guys' names that are here, had an opportunity to, probably not really great to swim in it with that plaster.
I swam in it, man.
Did you?
I was there.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a super good, it was a super hot day too, so it just made sense.
Right, Stacy Peralta at Uplands.
Yeah, that's a great photo. That's like iconic for him. That is an amazing photo right there, man.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my top 3 Alva photos right there. And he's got some iconic photos, man.
Who, Steve?
Alva, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, more I think than just about anybody.
Right.
You know.
There's a story behind this Alva photo at Gonzalez. You know that sticker on the front of the board.
Yeah.
Me and Tony actually had been interviewed for, and it was years ago, I don't remember, but they did a really clever splice where they interviewed Tony, and Tony talked about this photo because it's one of his favorite shots.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the photo, and I said, the bottom of the board says, if you value your life as much as I value this skateboard, don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
Right? So I said that in the interview, and Tony said the same thing, and they spliced them together, but for some reason I end up with the final line with the word fuck in it, even though you'd expect Tony to, well, I don't know.
Can't say that word on here, man.
Oh, that's true.
Bleep.
Yeah, we bleep it out. Well, it's live, so,
Kurt
we're not
Kimball.
really going to do it. Yeah, Kimball's rad, man. That guy didn't get as much credit as he deserves.
You know, his son
is ripping. Yeah, he writes for like Zero or one of those.
Yeah, I don't know
those
too
guys
much,
too.
but yeah.
I can't remember. I might have.
Yeah, I love that shot. Yeah. It was really tricky though with that back flash.
Yeah.
And then gnarls.
Yeah.
I love this just because all the judges are
right,
and Daryl does this eye contact.
Yeah.
It's just priceless. This, I think this is Dave Morin here in the closest.
Oh,
and
that's Del Mar.
Yeah, Del Mar.
The
and
second
then
Del Mar
Kurt
contest.
Kimball.
Yeah.
And
I can't
really see well enough to.
Yeah, there's too much light there.
Oh, Curtis Hesselgrave.
Oh, Hesselgrave.
He used to judge a lot of contests.
Yeah.
And there you are, Dave. You and Gnarls.
Yep.
I love that shot.
And I like it because you can't see me. And I have
it's hard to shoot doubles.
Like that's the one you were talking about right here.
I love this.
And that never got published.
No, and I've got one of you doing an invert.
Yes.
On that same wall there.
Right.
But yeah, I love it. I wish I could have gotten in closer, but then you can't really
Yeah.
frame it all and get in as close as I would like.
I have that photo now. You just sent it to me, so I love that
Yeah.
photo, man. That's one of my favorite photos right there. Because if you look at all my photos in the magazine, it's aerial axle stall, backside air, and Rex.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
I'd like to do stuff that was different.
Yeah,
Right? Eddie Algura at
Colton.
No,
I
that
can't see.
was
Oh no, that's Colorado.
well, yeah, but I was trying to think of what the name of the park was, but it was Boulder.
Yeah,
The Boulder.
No.
High
Was
Rollers,
it?
Arizona.
Yeah, not High Roller. I'd probably know it if I
Boulder.
heard it.
Yeah, I
but-
don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember. I just remember. That's where I would jacked up my knee. Bad.
This was just I'm not in that, but it was a 2-page spread, and this
Right.
was when they did
There's
the
the second page.
staffers. Yeah, the second page is my.
I don't
and,
know.
and I thought I was being all clever
Yeah.
by I guess it's not there, but I try to be clever with like my shot.
It looks good. It'll
but-
come up here.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
Who is that? Oh, that's Kevin Moore.
Yep.
That's Cam.
That's Kevin
Okay.
Moore.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's Kevin Moore doing his ollie layback.
Here.
Yeah.
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 Ollie layback,
He was the only pro skater I think that did it, other than Billy Ruff did them too.
and it's so gnarly.
So, I
I mean,
know.
I just love those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shot a bunch of those. And that was for a subscription ad for Skateboarder. We found this park in Florida. You spend a lot of time in Florida. We found this
Yeah.
park in Florida with this chrome dinosaur, whatever it is. And so I asked Mike Fulmer,
Yeah.
I said, why don't you take the mag, pretend like you're reading it? Because I was visualizing a subscription ad. And so he did.
Yeah.
So that's how that shot came about. He's one of my favorite skaters.
Yeah. Fulmer was awesome. He was a super good guy.
Oh, that gnarly story with this one. We were in Caracas, Venezuela.
Who is that?
Mike Miguel.
Oh, that's Mike. Okay.
But Tony Alva, Mike Miguel, Alan Gelfand, Ellen O'Neill, Steve Rocco, Tim Scroggs.
Wow.
There's a whole crew that a promoter
Tim's
brought us down there. I know they
Yeah.
talk about a
Great
blast in the
freestyles.
past. Yeah, great guy. But anyway, so they brought us down there. They paid for everything. And if you see the little white curve in the background there, past the ramp, that's the Anauco Hilton.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're talking about.
Poliedro. It was a
Okay.
sports arena. And they were having a boxing match between America and
Oh, jeez.
and Venezuela or something, which we didn't care anything about. But they put on a show there on this slick floor with all the skaters. Everybody's slipping and sliding. But anyway, so they're out of their element already. But anyway, Pepsi was doing a commercial. So they built this ramp, and you see this overhead
Yeah.
metal.
Yeah.
The guy there's a guy on
I see it. Yeah, he's
on a
laying there.
dolly, and you see the ropes going
Yeah.
just barely,
Huh.
but they had guys on each end of the ramp who were
Oh,
pulling this guy manually, trying to keep up with Mike or whoever it was.
Oh, you're
skating.
kidding me.
No, I'm not
Back
kidding
and
you.
forth. He was just going zing.
Well, once you get to one end, you can't reverse direction fast.
Basically, a human
So-
growth is what she's
Yeah. So Mike, this guy's getting jerked all over the place.
Yeah.
So Mike's over here and the cameraman's over here. And I mean, it was just,
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard it was hard to even shoot the thing. But it was just, we were getting in trouble night and day down there because everything's illegal. You get 3 days in jail for running a yellow light.
Is this Paul?
Paul Hackett.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was totally impromptu. That dog just took off
Yeah.
chasing him.
Oh, dogs
And
always chase
Rodney?
people.
Rodney
Yeah.
Mullen,
How about that? Rodney on Bird.
skating
Like,
Bird.
you don't see that very often.
Well, and I got to tell you,
You know.
Road goalie.
yeah, for a little
Yeah.
bit, he saw me there and he says, I want to skate vert. Will
what
you
year is
promise?"
this?
Probably 77, 78.
Okay.
He was pretty young then.
Is this
Yeah,
No, Gainesville Skate Park,
Gainesville.
Sensation Basin.
Gainesville. Yeah.
But anyway, you had to watch out for the alligators there. But anyway, so he says, promise me you won't take any pictures of me because his parents would have forbid him
Yeah,
to
yeah.
skate.
right?
Right.
Because they said you can skate freestyle, but you can't skate vert. And so I broke my promise to Rodney. I couldn't resist. So I took
Yeah.
the picture, and then Rodney saw me take it, comes up out of the bowl, panicked.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be able to skate again. Please,
Yeah.
promise you'll never, nobody, you won't publish it. And I made him a promise that I'll never show it to anybody, and I didn't for over 30 years. Nobody ever
I
saw
think
this
his parents
photo.
are probably okay with it now.
Well, I was joking with Rodney the other day about that. I said, Rodney, I said, did you get in trouble? Like, did your parents ever see that photo? And we just had a good laugh about it.
Yeah.
But that's a gnarly wall. I mean, if you
Yeah.
know what that wall is, I don't know how much vert it is, but it's mostly vert.
Could you imagine if he would have continued to skate vert? Like, would he be
Oh,
Tony Hawk right now?
He was so good.
Would he be Tony Hawk right now?
He could be.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
you know, Rodney sets his mind to something.
oh, I know. No.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
he's super hyper focused.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's a natural,
That
but
was,
Yeah.
that was 5 feet of vert.
at least I think
Yeah.
that was a
Another one
gnarly.
with shitty transition up to it, and it was just the wall.
Yeah.
Steve Anderson used to come up and do, what do you call it, where you, like the coping is here and you kind of lap over it. It's not a rock and roll. It's a partial,
Oh. Yeah, I'm not.
whatever. But he used to
Yeah.
do it on that. And if you don't do it just right, you're either going to fall the 5 feet or whatever it is on
Yeah,
this
on the
side.
other side.
Or fall over.
yeah.
the other
Fall
side.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I skated with Steve, I think, at the Hollywood ramp.
Yeah.
That was back when I was back there
I
touring.
love Steve.
Yeah.
Such a good
I spent like
show
3
going.
weeks, 2 to 3 weeks down in Florida skating. Like, it was awesome. All kinds of people.
Oh, this was when I started doing light painting. That's Stacy Peralta. This was actually in his driveway when he was living at home in Santa Monica. But he was so patient with me too. And he couldn't visualize what I was talking about either. So I set the camera up on a tripod. I put 2 little pebbles right where these lightning bolts hit the
Right.
concrete. And so Stacy had a place to go between. And I knew, because I had to go in behind that, the shutter's open, and I'm drawing a lightning bolt in the air, bringing it down to the ground,
Wow.
and then I turn it off and I walk over here and draw this one. And I did a number of them, of course, that didn't turn out.
Right.
And then Stacy goes, so where am I skating? Because it's dark.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no light. The
Yeah.
same problem. So of course there's limited what Stacy could do. But so I just happened to do this like nose wheelie and then manually flashed it. Yeah, Wally Inouye at Del Mar.
Yeah.
That photo's been published quite a bit. And then Tony Alva, hardcore guy.
Who's in the front? Is that one of the Venezuelan cops?
Well, he's like a police military.
yeah.
Military
Okay.
police.
From where?
But Venezuela.
Oh, okay.
This
All right.
is a Caracas, Venezuela trip. So they're all over the place because I think the president of the country came to watch the boxing match.
Oh.
So these guys with machine guns are walking everywhere, and they're kids. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how old this guy is, but he's friggin' young. So anyway, I thought, okay, let me get a shot of Tony, or it might have been Tony's idea to set the
See,
shot up.
okay. You see the shirt he has on?
The
I
one
had-
it's
yeah.
a vest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had the same one, but
You
mine
did?
was in purple and it was long sleeve.
he
And that's the
wore
one my
that a
mom got
bit.
rid of, man. And that's why I say, like, you know, I've looked on eBay a million times for him too.
But
just
wait,
to see
you
if-
got to go back to the Tony shot. Well, it's Tony too, but so I thought it'd be a hot idea to get this guy on a skateboard. Like I knew no fear, approaching this guy with a machine gun. So I said, "Hey, can you ride a skateboard?" Of course, he didn't speak English, and so I pointed the skateboard. The guy gets on the skateboard. He starts to roll, and I'm just gonna, probably not a great shot, but he's got a machine gun, right? So I'm getting ready to shoot the picture, and next thing I know, the guy, he didn't know how to skate, and he
Falls
slips,
out. Oh,
falls. The machine gun goes flying in the air.
Oh, shit.
We all go running for cover because we were sure the thing was going to go off and hit the ground. Oh,
Yeah, you never know. That's a great photo
That was
too.
at Tony's Malibu house. He had this plexiglass. You can't really tell in the dark, but
This is at the parents' house.
was it his parents' house?
Or is it Tony's house? I don't know.
Tony's house.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
It was just.
He had the
It was a.
plexiglass-
It was a
plexiglass
cottage, really. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, he had this plexiglass ramp set up, so we went up one night when sunset, and Vans loves this. It's like a Vans ad.
Oh yeah.
They
huge.
published it quite a bit,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, Tony is one of their key players now.
Now this was how they made these poor guys dress up. This was back in Caracas, Venezuela.
Oh, okay. I
So,
thought that was
left-
Dwayne Peters right there. That's why.
No, left to right, Tony Alva, Mike McGill, Gelfand, Mike McGill, Steve Rocco, Tim Scroggs, and Alan O'Neill. And they put
Wow.
them in these ridiculous costumes for the show.
Wow.
And the floor was
We have
way
to
too
keep that
slick.
photo.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You
We've
know
got
that
it all.
photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we have to keep that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
I've been talking to Rocco trying to get Steve on here.
I have not talked to. Do you know Steve? I used to say about Steve. This was way before World Industries.
Yeah.
I used to say he was the most likely to fail, to not succeed,
Well,
because he's a crazy guy.
you sure were wrong on that.
Now this one was for Vicky Vickers' interview,
Yeah.
and I had her sign her name in red lipstick on the mirror.
Okay.
That's why it's framed the way it is.
Yeah.
But she went to the beach that day to get a tan because she's a California girl,
Yeah.
and she got
Burned?
so red
Oh,
they
did she?
wouldn't run it in color.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh.
anyway, the lipstick didn't end up coming out. And anyway, that's the story behind that one. That was my third cover.
Who is that?
Damn it, it's in the file name.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
He's an
Aussie.
Aussie. He's an Aussie.
Okay, yeah,
he
that's
came
right.
over
That's
here
right.
and he was sponsored by somebody. That was Oasis.
Yeah.
Dennis.
Dennis going. Yeah. See, that's like an iconic photo right there too.
Yeah, Dwayne.
That was DP at the first up one right there.
Oh, see, you got a better memory of timing because I never can remember the time unless I look at the slide.
I just remember how he was ultra punked out.
Right.
That one.
That's what he did with the first acid drop.
What's that?
He did the first acid drop.
I don't know. Could have been. I know I was doing him right with behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, there's a
But-
gym picture.
Yeah, Grant Britton shot this one, but Stevie's skating, and that's me on the far left,
Right.
and then Gator's next to me, Mark Rogowski.
Yeah.
And I don't know who else might be there in the group.
I thought I remember Gino Tossi being in that photo at some place or some point.
Yeah, I think the
Right.
rest of them were just a bunch of kids.
Or still
you know,
Maskey? Is that still
local
Maskey on the far right? The blue?
I can't see him
No.
well
Yeah.
enough.
Okay. I didn't know if that was Kenny.
I don't think so, though.
Okay.
Now this, McDonald's ripped off, Steve Cathy did a nose wheelie.
Right.
Like you can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
that
I
art.
can see it.
This was at a McDonald's at Marina Del Rey, like near the park. Me, Neil, and Billy went out to eat during a break from the Marina contest. And we didn't know anything about this because McDonald's didn't get my permission to use my photo.
Okay.
And so we walk in, Steve saw it first, and I go, wait, that's my shot. And Steve goes, yeah. So we're thinking, well, how did this get up there? And they just, they took my photo, turned it into art. So I figured I got to take a picture of this.
Did you ever go after McDonald's? You could have probably got a $500,000
I thought
for
about
that.
it, except I didn't like McDonald's.
And that's more the reason to go get the money.
Yeah.
I know other people that have been doing that.
This was one of the first premiere shows of the Stacy's movie.
Bones Brigade.
The
Or
Bones-
no, was it Bones or was that the
the Bones Brigade movie.
but this was the
No,
this
not,
was the
not
later
the
one.
second one. This was
No. This was way after that. This was like this was probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
This was the one.
This was
that,
probably like 15 years ago.
That they did with all the Stesic background.
It's not the newer one where they all cried and everything. Or no, was it?
No, that was this one. You're right.
The
that
most
was,
recent.
That was this.
Yeah. 'cause
Okay.
I went to that.
Yeah, I forgot. But anyway, what a lineup. I mean,
I know.
and the cool thing with this premiere was that it was a lot of friends, not just fans. So
Yeah.
we were able to sort of share the experience.
Hey, wait.
more.
You know what's really weird? Look at that. First guy, Lance Mountain, Hall of Fame. Wait, Hall of Fame, 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 Hall of Fame. Every one of them's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, you're right. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty powerful right there, man.
Yeah, that was such a good movie.
Yeah. No, I drove up in 5 hours. I took my son. I think he was like 10 or 11 or 12 maybe at the time. And
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm going up there. You want to come? And he was in the 7th or 8th grade at the time. And he was like, I'll go, Dad. So we drove up there. We watched
That's
it,
cool.
hung out. And then I came straight back home. And I think we were home by about 1 or 2 in the morning. And
yeah.
he fell asleep right after we left. So
I love that movie.
he didn't miss too much.
This was when they did a piece on me when I went to Transworld when I was the
Oh,
editor.
okay.
And that was in my office. There's a picture of me, my feet.
Yeah, your shoes.
And the thing is, I used to get annoyed when people knew what I looked like because kids would come over and they'd want photo advice and I'm trying to work. And
yeah.
it's not like I'm an asshole and I don't want to, but sometimes I'm working. And so I like the idea, like Stesic would like to be more anonymous.
Right.
So, but Larry Balma said, you've got to have a photo.
Yeah.
And I said, but I don't want my face in there yet. I want to be more. And he says, no, you got to have photos. So I stuck my feet on my desk, took a picture of my feet.
You took it? You took it.
He was not happy.
I think that's great, man.
It. This was Larry Ballman's.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Larry Gordon's.
Paddle out.
Yeah, when he died.
That was good. At Hackett made it out there.
Well, it was awesome because Stacy comes down, brings his wetsuit.
Yeah, Stacy too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cold day, and Steve surfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an amazing day.
Yeah.
And now Dave McIntyre's gone.
Yeah.
This was when the Signal Hill movie came out. Can't think of the guys' names that put it together.
That came out, but it never really came out.
Well, they premiered it in Long Beach,
right?
At a college or something there, at a theater, but the crew came out. So we went on the hill. Of course, it's totally unrecognizable now with the trees but I just had to get the shot where you could see the hill, with the original group here. And then of course Dale Smith, he jumps into every photo that ever happened.
Hey, be careful, man. I'll call Dale now, and he'll be here in 5 minutes.
All right. This was Steve Schneer's memorial.
Man, yeah.
Here, back up to that one. Jeff Ament even came out because Steve Schneer and Jeff were really good friends. Jeff Ament from Pearl Jam.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So he came out, which was really special that he was able to come out. But Jim Gray, that's Chris Schneer, his brother in the white shirt.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Ament, his sister Erica, and then his mom, and then
so gnarly.
That's his older daughter. I've forgotten her name now. I think she's in her later 20s now, and then I'm on the far right there.
It's so crazy because you're at a funeral and everybody's like, "Oh, he smiled for the big interview." You're like, man, just lost your son.
Well, the only time I lost it there was when Chris, Steve's brother, brought his ashes in a box, but he had them under a table so people wouldn't see them. But Chris knew how much it would mean. Oh, I got a story I got to tell you in this one. And so Chris told me about it, and as soon as I put my hand on the box, I lost it.
Yeah.
Well, this guy was a Heineken distributor, the guy who owned the house. And the kid was a skater. We got an invite because everybody wanted Steve to come skate their stuff, right? He was pretty popular then. And anyway, he had cases and cases of Heinies in the garage. So we started drinking, and Steve loves to drink. This one, Steve didn't have a beer in his hand. But anyway, the reason the pool was empty is the guy was going to repaint the Heineken logo. Yeah. So we had a great session there. But it couldn't be published because we're all underage drinkers.
Yeah. Good photo of Steve.
Yeah, I miss him. And look at the truck on this. Can you see the wheel bend, the axle bent?
Yeah, right there in the corner.
Yeah, he hit that box hard.
I don't think he made that.
No.
I don't think he made that. I mean, he might have made it to the bottom of the pool, but I don't think he was rolling on anything at that point.
Well, that wasn't Steve.
Yeah.
That was, I think his name was Eric.
Yeah.
That's when I published the GNS skateboard team book.
Man, look at how many people are missing from that.
I know,
photo,
right?
Man, how many people we were losing, great skate people. Ellen, Chris, Dave are all gone.
Chris went way too soon.
Yeah. That was sad. I was with Chris about 2 weeks before, a week and a half we skated.
Really?
Yeah, we went around Lake Poway. We
how cool is that?
We skogged around it.
And I didn't get an invite.
No. Actually, I called, man.
Because you didn't give him an invite to the pipes out there. So
I know, payback time.
No, I wanted to go back to that because, I got to skate the Amaron pipes in Oceanside on the base.
Oh, the San Onofre.
Yeah, the San Onofre pipes.
Yeah. I only went there once.
Yeah, I went there 3 times. I got kicked out 2 times, and 1 time I got to skate for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was a rush.
Well, I remember, was it Daryl talking about it? You're talking about it with Daryl? Yeah, the San Onofre pipes.
Before we got busted, but we got busted every time. Those guys were honest, that fast.
I got lucky there, but...
Yeah.
And that's one of the few... I don't have too many shots of myself shooting skaters, but Glenn Friedman shot this. I think it was early 80s. I don't know why I'm doing that weird crab walk.
Well,
Sorry about that.
This is 82. Because before it was discovered, it was just a coping. There was no deck. They laid that deck in.
Damn, you got a good memory. Because I forgot when they put the deck in.
Well, that was the last contest I skated right there.
That one?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I got like 20th. But I was already just counted myself out of it. I just went in to have fun.
That's Mark Regal.
Yeah.
That's up at
Yep.
Timberline Lodge in Oregon.
Yeah.
Me and Johnny Tussle
Yeah.
and Mark Rogowski, we went on a road trip, drove to Canada for some event, and we stopped at a bunch of stuff on the way. And that's at Timberline Lodge that had, outside of Portland, Oregon, has snow year round. So anyway,
It's a good old Sims board right there.
Snowboard. One of the original Sims
Yeah.
boards, which sucked because that grip tape would always get ice built up on it, and then you had no grip. You couldn't keep your feet on it. And that was in outside of Phoenix. Obstacle pool? I don't remember. Chris Miller at the Terra Tahoe in Lake Tahoe. That was 85-ish. That was kind of I guess that was my first Trans World. That was a real controversial cover. A lot of people didn't.
Who? I can't even really see what that one is
That's
about.
Mark Rogowski.
Oh, is it Mark?
He's just signing.
Caballero board.
Yeah, he's signing autograph. Well, the kid that was at Mount Trashmore, and the fans were just tearing down the fence, and so anyway, he was signing autographs. That's what was going on there. Lance Mountain, Tahoe.
What year is this? Like 84, 85?
The Terra Tahoe, they had a couple of them, but that one was 85.
Okay.
1985. And then this is one of my favorite bail shots because the Lester Kasai.
Okay.
You just know he's going head first or knee first or something right to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. Heck, he could do that right now.
Mark Gonzalez at the Oceanside Pier. You know who else is in this? It's hard to see, Dave, with lights on us.
Yeah.
But that's Ray Underhill in the background on the left.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which makes it especially sad.
Yeah.
Ray used to be my roommate. We used to be
Is that
roommates
right?
at one time. Yeah.
Wow.
Neil Blender, one of my favorite shots with him. That was at Finland's Ramp, I think, up in Orange County somewhere.
Yeah, every picture of Neil is a great photo.
Yeah. Chris White. These pipes were on railroad. What do they call it? Like the bottom thing of a railroad car, but there's nothing on top. You can put
whatever.
Flatbed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
a
like a
flatbed.
flatbed.
Yeah.
Well, they had these pipes on it. This is in Neil's bedroom.
Huh.
He had such a cool collection of toys. This was actually for his interview for Trans World, 1986-ish,
Unreal.
85, 86, something like that. Yeah, Neil was always one of my favorites.
Nice black and white shot.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, this was that one picture I was talking to you about. I didn't know who the far left guy was.
Yeah, and I don't know who, and that was at the ASR show, I think.
Yeah, it was funny. Like, I probably had more pictures taken by T-Bone than anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I don't remember. Oh, this is something I'm really proud of. One thing I've done since I left skateboarding, or at least being active or working in it, is using my photos to donate to causes. And this organization, the Moss Foundation, which I think is located in Australia, if I remember right, but I gave them a whole bunch of my photos, and then the guys would sign them, like Dwayne signed that one on the right, you can see, and donate them, and they auction them off to raise money. And the Moss Foundation in Swaziland, they create clean water system for the locals there. So it's kind of a nice way to sort of give something back,
Right.
to good causes. And that was just me getting a shot. Well, that's something I do every year in Canada. I shoot an event up in Canada every year, skateboard event.
They all happen to have American flags in there.
Well, no, we had all the flags.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like we had a parade, and they're all carrying their
Gotcha.
because it's an international event. this is that same Steve Cathy photo doing the nose
That
wheelie,
McDonald's stole.
which people accused him of putting his
Yeah.
nose on the ground,
Yeah.
but he was moving.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Vans licensed that photo from me, and it was in their shop. They're one of their
Oh,
stores.
awesome. Okay.
And so I just happened to be walking by the store, and I saw it. They have it on the front window.
Yeah.
And then inside too. So I call up Steve and I said, Steve, grab your board, meet me at the Fashion Valley, that's here in San Diego, the Fashion Valley Vans. I want to take a picture of you doing the nose wheelie. Bring your board in front of the store, in front of the picture. Well, he shows up, but he forgot to bring a skateboard. So anyway, so we invited Dave McIntyre, who was the GNS sales manager. And so we got a shot together.
Rad.
And the kid who took the picture was all stoked because I had shot the photo, but he didn't know who any of us were.
Yeah.
And this is just a collage from the Vancouver. It's a freestyle event. So I just created this collage of I've been doing it for about 10 years now. And then this is a shot, I don't know. Oh, that's Stevie Cab bailing. No, it's the Elgato.
No, that's the Gold Cup.
What?
It says it right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking there's another shot similar to this.
There probably is.
Anyway, that one's in here because I'm on the left there now, shooting a picture of Stevie bailing.
It looks like Marina. 2 upper keyhole.
Yeah, I guess I had that one wrong.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but look at all the stickers.
Yeah,
Look
I
at all
know.
the stickers under
Yeah.
the tile.
Yeah.
So I don't
I'm just
know.
looking at the tile and, I don't know.
The tile of Marina, but I don't think that's Marina.
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
Didn't
either, no.
Lakewood have a
No.
with the same tile?
They never had a contest
Can you
there.
see
in
the
pool.
file name there on your computer? Because
Because
I put the location, if I know it, I put the locations in the file names.
Oh, boy. Good luck. Okay, hey,
Oh, well.
let's ask George. Hey, George, come on, hit us up and let us know where it is.
Well, you need
or DC, if you know, let me know.
Yeah, you got to get one of those people that just has like this photographic memory.
Yeah.
They can remember everything.
Well, I mean, the coping looked a
it's a
little
different
bit
one.
different.
Oh well, it's not like a major deal.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
not.
Yeah.
But this will give us time to skip about 100 photos. Catch up.
Right. There we go. Now we're caught
It's
up.
the Elgato Classic. Damon Dodge shot the photo. Stevie Caballero, the Elgato Classic.
I thought it was Elgato.
2017.
I think they put that gold cup
Oh,
up.
That's
shoot.
Dan. That's Dan.
Yeah, Sperano.
Sperano, and
Yeah.
that's,
Okay, there it is. So that is.
I thought for sure because I remember socks that the guy's wearing or little
Yeah.
things, like when I'm taking the pictures.
That's Palm Springs Skateboard Park.
Right.
Got it.
That was
Somebody
a fun event.
threw
That
that
was
in there.
That was in England. Went off to a park, just shooting. I don't remember who shot the photo. And then these are the photos I was telling you about at TNC Town and
Right,
Country
Town and
Surf
Country.
Shop in Hawaii
With Darren Ho, Mr.
with
Ho.
Mr. Santa Claus himself.
Oh,
The Costa reunion.
yeah. I got there a little bit late. I did show up for that. It was good to see.
Did
I
you
got
go?
to see
That
a
was
bunch of people.
2009, the first one that we did. That was the
Probably.
biggest turn. Now that was Slam.
Dale Smith's in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
everybody's almost everybody came out for this. People came in from other states. I mean, it was amazing.
A lot of guys from Colorado were there, if I remember right, too. I can't remember who it was. But I remember I got there about an hour and a half. There's a lot of people that already left. There was only like maybe 20, 25
this
people
one,
left.
Tony Hawk, that's him on the left. Tony and Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo, they've gotten to be really close friends.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when Tony found a play called Slam, or a book called Slam, if I remember right, and he wanted to do it, but he wanted Mark Mothersbaugh to do the score.
Okay.
Do the score for it. Yeah, I didn't realize that Mark was still really active.
Oh, he's
I mean,
huge.
done a
Yeah.
lot- he's done a
He
lot of
still
TV
is.
a lot of TV
But
shows.
back in the day, Devo was as much a fan of us skaters as we were of them. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember Pomona,
Yeah.
they did something there, and there was Devo showed up, and anyway, everybody's asking for autographs. But this was at the La Jolla Playhouse a couple years back, I think. and a guy named Kyle Hamilton. He was in the play, was cast in the play, and so I got invited to come up check. It was just like a premiere.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Like a staging for the actors. And Mark's just an amazing guy.
Yep. Now, I know Tony was just back in Vegas. You know, with the Devo came on. And
Yeah.
they were working together on it.
Yeah.
'Cause I know a bunch of people that went out to it and stuff, and they
Well,
hit me up late.
Tony
I was like,
wants
I'd go.
Tony
What?
wants to bring that play to Broadway.
Oh,
but then,
really?
But then the
Wow.
pandemic hit,
Oh, okay.
and so they kind of had to put it on hold.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. I got an invite to kind of go, but I don't know what happened then all of a sudden.
I'd love to.
But-
Well, I was asking Mark how much you guys play now,
Yeah.
because you don't always catch when they're touring, and they
Right.
don't tour
These are all
regularly.
your passes.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
Well,
that's
business
cool.
cards.
Yeah.
That was
Business
my
cards.
business card
That's what
for,
I use for you.
and then my Trans World card, and my license plate.
Yep. 1980.
Now I grabbed the one off the back.
Oh,
when
you
I
still
took
have
well, you're not supposed to legally. You're
Yeah,
supposed to turn
whatever,
them in.
man. I have mine
The
too.
front plate was demolished,
Yeah.
but the back plate I took, and
Yeah.
I still have it. And these are some of my press passes
Yeah.
for different shows.
Yeah. Well, see, they were going all over. Okay, so I want to keep on with the photos, but at the same time,
We did jump around.
yeah, I kind of want to find out a little bit more. I know you went to Florida after you left here.
Spent a lot of time in Florida.
Spent a lot of time in Florida. Enough time where they actually put you in the Florida Hall of Fame
Well, when they first called
by
me,
yourself.
yeah,
I mean, you didn't
when-
have 6 other guys going in with you.
when they,
So
yeah, we
that
did.
was-
Paul Smith was inducted the same year I was.
No. I understand that, but I'm saying photographer guys.
Oh, I
Like,
was the only photographer.
You're the only photographer.
or
there.
not. Well,
For
I don't want to say I'm a non-skater, but I wasn't inducted
Right.
for being a skater.
oh, okay,
It was for my contribution to the Florida skate scene
right,
through my photography.
exactly. Which I thought was pretty cool.
It was very cool.
And those guys, you know what, man? Those guys have done a great job with that. You know,
Yeah.
they started it they started the Florida Hall of Fame back in 2002, I believe. We didn't get around to doing one here for everybody until
Right.
like 2012. I think was our first
Totally
year.
grassroots.
So theirs was 10 years before we even started the
I
the
know.
other. I shouldn't say the real. I have to kind of say the Florida one was the real one because it was 10 years before the.
But the
other
difference is
one.
the name. They're
Yeah.
called Florida Skateboard
Yeah.
Singular Hall of
Okay.
Fame,
Okay.
and ours here, Skateboarding Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what you have to do when you're second.
Steve Alva. What's his band called again? I always forget. Doesn't have a 5 in it. Steve Alva.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't
that was
remember.
at the Elgato though.
Yeah. I can see that.
The stage.
Yeah, there it is too. The ramp that they
Elgato.
skated.
I'm not sure. That might be Hawk up there, and then who's that? Dennis Martinez.
Darren and it looks like Chris Miller,
No,
Martinez, and
no, that's
Yeah.
George Jordan,
who?
and that's Spidey on
Yeah,
the far
Spidey
right.
on the far
Oh,
right.
that is George Jordan.
Yeah,
Oh, is it? Oh, it is George. All
George,
right, I
George
take it back.
Spidey, Martinez, and
Sorry about
and-
that, George.
And Ho.
Oh, George Horton.
God, those were so much fun.
Yeah. Well, they're having it again this year, November 11th and 12th.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
So yeah, I'm gonna go down and check it out too.
there. Catalina Classic. That's
Yeah.
Greg Ty there, winning the contest. He had the most unique style. He did it parallel, your
Yeah.
feet side
Yeah.
by side,
Yeah,
pointing
yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
I don't know
He's
how.
wearing the leather record.
Well, it was 1977.
I was gonna say that's probably the best there was then too. man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a set of pair of those.
Now
For a
this
short
was
period
for a
of time.
Going ad.
Yeah.
You're in this one, Dave. I think
Yeah.
you're right next to the sign, right?
Yeah.
Like,
The only one with a board.
Board's right in front.
oh yeah.
He's the only one out of all the skaters. He's the only one with a board. And you ask him, I'll tell you a story about this.
Well, I think that was Mike Williams' idea, right?
No.
That LA to San Diego thing.
No.
No. Where did that?
That came from a new marketing guy that they hired.
Really?
Yeah, he was out. He was. Yeah, he loved to talk about the fact that San Diego was like kind of an island, and we didn't have a photographer, even though you were here, but you were gone to LA or Florida or wherever.
Yeah, good point.
And
fair point.
And we weren't, Going wasn't getting the coverage
True.
on stuff because
especially after Indy came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Indy was still so brand new. Going was still striving and doing really well back then.
Yeah, but Indy was wrapping $100 bills around their trucks and saying, "You're going to like these."
Yeah, I know. That's right.
Go
Yeah,
and
how
do
many
that.
did Costco pass out that caught this? That
Yeah.
was funny.
Well, I want to say that was at Winchester, was when Indy, because Henry Hester showed up with an Indy truck shirt, and we go, "Was that a trucking company? Are
Yeah.
you working?"
Yeah.
We didn't. Nobody knew about him, and that's where Fausto showed up. And
Wasn't he a diehard tracker guy before that though? Wasn't he?
Henry was, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Indy,
Amazing what $100 will do.
they came in fast and heavy. So
Yeah.
what we were talking about. So yeah, I never remembered where, but I guess to me, Mike
Okay.
Williams, and that was a hard setup though
Well, he
to
was
light up
probably-
all you guys. And
Yeah, he was probably he got that from whatever the new marketing. That photo, looking at some
That
really
was-
amazing people.
it was so cool, and we end up losing.
Yeah,
What's his name there on the? Thank
Brad
you, Brad
Edwards.
Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he. I know, man. That was the worst thing ever, right there.
Really? I didn't even know that he was sick. Let alone, I barely found out when he passed.
Well, the worst part about it was he just needed his medication.
Really?
That's all it was, man. He needed medication.
Oh,
He had high
man.
blood pressure. Needed the medication.
That's
He
just-
lost his job, so he lost his benefits. And then he just got another job, and he was into it, but it was like a 90 days before he could get his pennies.
Yeah.
And like
so
the
he's off the
60th day,
meds.
like
yeah.
the 60th day, blood pressure went up, and bam.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes me so angry.
That was the worst
That
thing
was
ever.
that was the Jay Adams paddle out.
But anyway,
Rosso, I sure do miss him.
yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt.
Never be
Yeah.
another like him.
Well, there's another one too.
Same with Jeff Phillips.
Yep. Phillips, man, what talent.
Me and Keith Stevenson. Most people don't really. He goes by Billy Runaway.
Yeah.
We did that calendar. Well, it was his idea. I got to give him credit. 2004.
Skateboarder belt. Hi, have a nice day.
John Barron, who ran
360.
360 Sportswear,
Yeah.
decided he wanted to do these brass Skateboarder magazine belt buckles, and he only made 9 of them.
Oh,
I have
wow.
no idea if any other, but I still have this one. I have
Awesome.
no idea if any of the other ones survive. And this is when Craig,
The Ollie book signing.
yeah, but I can't think of his last name. Craig something,
Yeah.
Florida local. He did this book, and we had pretty good turnout for this in San Diego. I have no idea how many books he actually sold, but and this, me and Alan Losey,
Yeah.
that's him on the far left in the tracker
Yeah.
shirt. We were in Dallas, I think, walking through the airport board, and you could smoke in the airports back then. Anyway, we're waiting for our flight, so we're just burning time walking around, and we see this huge crowd of girls screaming and carrying.
Yeah.
You think the Beatles had just come in. It was 1964. Anyway, all these girls, but we couldn't see what the fuss was in this gift shop. So me and Alan come in, we take a closer look, and we see Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
That's him right next to it with the curly hair. And of course, I'm no Richard Simmons fan, but I thought, well, all these girls are just going crazy over him. And I thought, well, they're not going to score with him. Like, what? Anyway, so we just thought it was funny. So I told Alan to go around, not to attract attention, to go around the crew and come in next to Richard, and I'd get the shot. So I'm holding my camera up like this with the fisheye, but I still had a cigarette in my hand back when I smoked. So I got a cigarette in my other hand. I'm holding the camera up. Now I'm visible because my arm is up and there's this camera. Richard looks up and he goes, oh, I'm going to blow this imitating it, but he goes, ew, look at that nasty man with the nasty cigarette. Like I realize that's a stereotype, but he did talk like that. And so, of course, all the girls go, ew, like in unison.
Well, good luck trying to score with any of them.
Yeah, so I immediately backed out, thinking I was going to get lynched, put the cigarette out, came back after they sort of weren't paying attention to me anymore, put the camera up again and got the shot.
That's fun.
Now one woman's got a 110
Yeah,
That's funny.
that was probably early 80s, 80, early 80s, I suppose. TNS reunion. So good to have the whole crew out. What was that, last year?
2 years ago, I think.
Or 2 years ago now?
I think it was, yeah. Well, nobody has a mask on, so it was probably just before COVID hit
Oh,
then.
right. This was
So-
Fred Smith with a gun,
Yeah.
the red shorts. The kids were just locals. Eddie Radigi is the guy
Skating.
catching air.
Yeah.
And that was the Tijuana skate park,
Yeah.
Skateparks
wow.
de Tijuana, which was like the most gnarliest park I'd ever been to. There was like water in some of the places, boards with nails in
Dirt.
them.
There's all kinds of crud
Yeah,
there.
it was.
No pro shop. And you get warm soda for like 50 days.
I remember-
Well, they had something in there, some kind of
yeah,
shop.
but later it stopped going away.
Well, this was 85 or 86, so I don't know what condition it was before or after.
Yeah, 80. I was skating. I went there in 85.
Did
I
you?
skated there until it was no more.
It was-
The place was
It was kind of fun just for the adventure. Plus, going with a guy like Eddie, you know.
and where it was.
Right.
It was in a really bad part
And
of
Fred
town.
Smith. You put Fred Smith and Eddie together, and they're just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is that what's that he's holding right there?
It was like a toy gun, plastic gun. I don't know where we found it, but and I don't know what story we were trying to tell with the kids at gunpoint. TV
Well,
cab,
crazy thing about it is the gun rules down in Mexico are a whole
yeah,
different level than
right,
anywhere else, man.
Right.
I'm surprised he'd get shot.
Couldn't
down
do it
there.
now. Now this is
Yeah.
Losi's band.
Yeah.
It was so good that he was healthy enough for that, for the Elgato.
Yeah.
That is-
Wow.
Yeah, poor
We just-
Alan. He's been through a lot.
Burned through 160 photos somehow. Pretty
Well,
quick.
160 plus the ads. You didn't
Yeah.
have the ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. Well, I've got about 4 pages of questions here. Maybe another 3 hours.
Man, we're all over the place.
No, just kidding.
We're like
it's
on a
not that,
roller
It's not
coaster.
that bad. Yeah, I was thinking like after the Florida the Hall of Fame. What are you doing now? What are you up to now?
Well, I don't like to use the word retired because I'm still kind of active,
Yeah.
but I went back to just freelancing.
Okay.
So now I take either photo or graphic design. I went back to school and got a graphic design degree and
How old
just
were you
do-
when you got that?
well, after I left the sheriff's department, I went back to school, got the degree in graphic design. That would have been around 1990. So I just freelanced this stuff. And the thing is, I don't need the money anymore. So I take projects for the fun.
Oh, good. I get projects.
Yeah?
He just said the key thing right
Yes,
there.
yeah, exactly.
Now-
I had something to talk to you about.
Now, I didn't say not get paid at all. I said I just don't have to care about the money.
We'll pay you a beer. We have cases
Yeah.
of beer.
We got
Well, that's a start.
That's a start. Hey, look, we got a negotiation going on there, right?
That's a start.
okay. Well, all right. Well, I just want to touch real quick. You spent a lot of time putting together a timeline of skateboarding. Kind of a history. I think it started even before 1940. Or was it like 1940s?
1920 something.
1920 something. Yeah, it started.
And I
then.
had no clue it went back that far until I started researching. But you know why I did that? It was 2004. I had been out of the skate scene for a while,
Yeah.
just doing my thing. And then in 2000, when the old school craze, everybody had to have the old school stuff. And I found out how much stuff in dollar value I gave away
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. I know. Same
So
here.
2000, I
Same
remember
here.
that distinctly. It's
Yeah.
easy to remember. Y2K,
Yeah, yeah.
2000, and everybody wanted photos for magazines, articles, interviews, movies, whatever. So I'm not dragged back in, but
Yeah.
like I come back into
Right.
the scene, reconnect with the whole crew, and then I started reading some of these books that are being put out. And
Yeah.
I don't want to call anybody out in particular, but they're getting our story wrong. People that weren't
Big
there
time.
are telling
Yeah.
our story.
Right.
And I said, wait a minute. This cannot stand. So in 2004, so a few years after I got back into the scene, I started calling everybody up.
Yeah.
Some of these people are gone now,
Yeah.
but I started calling people up that was there. Jim
Right.
Fitzpatrick, never talked to Tom Sims, too late
Yeah.
with him. But
Right.
anyway, I started talking to everybody and started putting from the source, started putting together our history.
Yeah.
It's just an outline. It's not everything that ever
Oh
happened.
no, I know it's just an
Yeah.
outline, but I read the whole thing.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
and-
Tracker included it in their book.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just I got depressed on the last 10 years.
Everybody dying.
I know.
Well, that's why I stopped
So,
doing it, because
yeah.
it was one big obituary.
Yeah, it became an obituary, like, and all important people.
Of
Most
course.
of those guys
So
were all
I have to
guys that were
ask,
Hall
the
of Fame.
20s,
Yeah.
In the 20s, where were they skateboarding and they using metal wheels?
2x4s, or it was related. The equipment was all coming from roller skating.
Yeah.
So it could be a 2x4 or a piece of scrap wood, and then you put roller skate trucks. Neil has done this.
Yeah.
We went into a skate shop. No, me and Andy Anderson went in. He wanted to emulate Neil Blender because he idolized him, and went into a roller skate shop up in Kearney Mesa or somewhere. And there's a couple of, I almost started to say something a word I shouldn't have used, but there's a couple of ladies in there were happy to help us. And we bought a plate, like off a normal shoe plate
Right.
from a roller skate, and cut it in half, and then put it opposite ends of the skateboard. You know, Neil has done that. But now I got off the topic. We were talking about.
Yeah, off the topic. We're talking about.
Yeah, but you mentioned something about the gear, the equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just whatever you could
1920s.
find. But the wheels would come from roller skating too,
Yeah.
early on.
Well, I'm gonna get Dale Smith on here, and
Man, he'll be a wealth.
Dale has the collection. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's remarkable, the stuff that he has from like Scooter 1925.
Yeah.
He's got like skateboards. The first ones with actually warped tails in it, I think, started in 1940.
Well, they were
And
a
he's got
wood
these-
wedge was the first kicktails.
Well, that's
A little piece of wood.
skateboarding, but Dale has stuff that guys concocted somehow. And actually made like real warped tails, okay, and on like different kinds of like amazing
Damn.
wood and stuff. Like his collection's started.
Well,
And-
Stevie Cab's got a huge collection too. He
Yeah.
really got into the vintage stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dale, he's
I
the
haven't
master.
seen.
Dale's the
I have never seen Stevie, but Stevie said he was going to come on the show.
Good.
He sent me a thing online saying, "Dave, I want to get on your show. Let's go." So we got to mark him up after our next guest, which is going to be Mr. Jim Gray, coming in next week.
That should be fun.
Yeah, I got some fun stories with Jim. So
Oh yeah.
that one will be
He's the
fun.
most underrated and underappreciated guy out there.
You know,
Well,
to a
maybe
point-
next to you.
To a point, yeah. But at the same time, everybody loves Jim. Except
But-
there's one guy that likes to heckle him. Actually, yeah, there's one guy.
Well, Jim always likes to remind us of how he was like underappreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. But yeah, so I'm gonna get Dale on here too, and but I want to show his collection. I want to show a lot of it
That'd be
and talk
awesome.
about it because there's I you know, he's got a storage shed somewhere, and it's full of like the oldest, craziest, coolest stuff ever. And
I like the
I'm
ones
looking
that have
forward to
the
getting it.
handles,
yeah,
like when it was a box, like a wooden crate.
it was like a
with
crate.
the-
Yeah,
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 and
I've
then
seen that.
it'd be like a handle, and
Those
And
are the
then-
ones that are on the Little Rascals. Old,
Yeah.
movies, the Little Rascals.
and when you get better at it, you go, "What do I need this handle for?
Yeah.
Let's get rid of this handle."
Yeah, but those things were like squared off too. Like
Yeah.
like I don't even know how they
They were
stood
the,
on
they
those
were
things.
the,
You
they
know.
were the planking for the old orange crates.
Yeah, that's
Right.
pretty much what they
That's what
were.
they-
But
yeah.
the truck's so narrow, and
Yeah.
the box was so big, you're edging all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
you're scraping all the
Yeah.
time.
Either side.
Yeah, so you just go straight.
But
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, so we've got some really cool guests who are going to be coming on.
Awesome.
But anyway, I'd love to get into that timeline. If you guys can look it up, if anybody out there wants to check it out, the timeline is online.
I
Just
don't
have
know
to
where
go
it
under-
is online.
It's under
Well,
your
you
name.
could type.
Under your name.
Oh, well, Russ Howell put a version of it on his
Yeah.
website.
Oh, okay. Russ Howell did.
WhatsApp.
Okay.
No, I don't know what he calls it. But Russ Howell created a website quite a while ago covering a lot of past events and stuff.
Okay.
And he added the timeline plus the photos of these particular,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's really interesting. So maybe if you can get that website up,
Well, maybe I'll have to check it out because maybe he put a picture of me in it somewhere,
Well, it's
or at
also
least mentioned me somewhere.
up again because I just did an interview with an Australian magazine, Backside Magazine.
Okay.
They're online though.
Okay.
Did an interview with them, and they wanted to do my timeline, an interview separate, but with just me, but my timeline.
Yeah.
So they were going to put it up there with all the photos, and they've done that. But for the photo, they wanted to have an intro photo to kind of introduce you to the spread, the opening spread.
Right.
So they said, "Can you do
Awesome.
on?" I'll send you the links.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have found it actually.
Yeah.
I might have seen that. I mean, I read a whole bunch of stuff about you. So.
But most people have never.
was
Oh,
on
you
there?
found it.
Yeah.
Most people have never seen what
I
those
don't have
early
stuff,
board
only we see it.
Yeah.
I'm not broadcasting.
Okay.
I was just looking.
line.
I don't see it.
Is there no scroll down? Oh, he may not have it up in the top.
Oh yeah, man! Look at that. He's got a million.
He might have it. Yeah,
History.
that's it.
There it is, right there.
So you see these photos,
Yeah.
stuff I'd never
Give me
seen.
1 second.
But you know who started this, or at least inspired me, was Peter Dukeman, the founder, one of the founders with his brother Rick, Skull Skates in,
Oh, is that right?
in Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah, a good friend of mine. He has.
Huh.
You would absolutely lose it if you saw his personal collection of boards. You think Dale Smith
Yeah.
has? He's got rooms and rooms and rooms and rooms
Really?
of stuff, hundreds of thousands of dollars in old skate gear.
Where did he find it all? Where does he find all that
He
stuff?
he's been in it since the 70s. He's just been
Collecting
collecting.
that stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Dale has some pretty awesome stuff, and I hope to get him. I've been talking to him. Takes care of his mom.
Sweet.
2 or 3.
Who does?
Dale does.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, Dale drives up to Long Beach. Drive
Damn.
every couple times a week.
So he's still
So-
in North County,
Yeah, he lives right down.
Encinitas,
Yeah.
or somewhere.
No, down in Vista,
Oh, okay.
right here. But anyway,
Anyway,
So-
but I love those early boards because
Yeah.
some of those I'd never. So Peter Dukeman is the one who has those boards and took a picture, and they have it up on the Skull Skates website.
well, this
So
is
that's got
amazing.
what inspired
Oh,
me.
this side is so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russ got a lot of stuff there.
All right. So wrapping things up, we're semi-retired, having fun. We're doing stuff, whatever you want
Yeah.
to do.
Well, the
we got a
pan-
nice schedule now.
Pandemic put
Yeah.
a big crimp in that because I
Yeah.
was starting to travel a lot more,
Yeah.
and suddenly the pandemic hit, and it's no fun to travel anymore.
Yeah. Not yet. It's getting better though.
Well, once they
But
get the staffing
You
issues.
don't want to go to Europe. You got to stay inside the United States,
Yeah.
and then you're doing good.
But even
So-
U.S. travel, they're
Yeah.
canceling flights and
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. There's a lot of flights. All right. Well, do you have any shout outs? Anything you want to say? Any last
man.
minute? Oh, by the way, I'm sorry that I threw up in somebody's car back in '78. And
Well, I never threw up, but I give a shout out to Billy's many farts on long road trips.
oh, shit.
Oh shit! Out of that little guy,
Oh.
Baker State came, huh?
That's-
And oh my gosh,
that's
and
great.
I used to slam on the brakes, and I say, I'm going to throw you. You know, we'd be in middle of the desert in Texas or wherever, and I threatened to throw him out of the car because he did it just to annoy me.
yeah.
You know,
They did it for fun.
the fun of being
Yeah.
a team coach when I
Yeah.
was the ball wing. But Neil Blender,
Yeah.
oh, you'll never get him in here.
Neil,
Neil,
come on. he's
I
good.
tried to get Neil to come out for the Elgato. I
Yeah.
said, look, I'll pick you up and
Yeah.
drive you up.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. He's
Yeah.
just an anti-public. You know, he used to skate all the time at the Claremont skate park. He
Yeah.
liked that park. But then the kids realized who he was. Well, he
Yeah.
stands out.
Right.
You watch him skate. The kids realize who he was, or they just appreciate his talent, not knowing who he is. And they'd start to line up around the pool. And then
Yeah.
the ones who did know who he was, the fans, would start asking him all these questions. Can I take a picture with
Yeah.
you? Get an autograph?
Yeah.
And of course, Neil just hates that.
Yeah.
So I mean, you saw him at the Hall of Fame when he gave his little speech. You know how Neil is with all that. And so then he switched to Rob Field in Ocean Beach, where he lives. Probably shouldn't have said that.
That's all right. It's a big place.
Well,
There's a
true.
million people down there.
So now he just holed up. OB is his escape.
Yeah.
He likes to skimboard.
Yeah.
But anyway, Neil has just been a constant stoke. Andy Anderson, for a current generation, is absolutely my favorite skater of all time.
Wow.
All time.
Where did we see him at? That website from NorCal. Those guys, that Indian. Yeah. He's talking about.
Well, he comes to San Diego every so often because I'm here and we'll hang out. But the guy is just beyond. And he figured out. Okay, I can't give myself the credit. We had a session where we were smoking out one night, and this when we were up in Canada, and he figured out. He could explain the fourth dimension.
Oh wow!
Now I couldn't repeat what he said, and understand it now, but I understood it at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
I realize that has very little value, but yeah. So Andy Anderson, Chris Miller. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm stoked by style, and probably that's one of the reasons maybe I spent some time with the Dogtowners and stuff.
Yeah.
Just that radical style and stuff. People like yourself, just not like the mainstream. I didn't even shoot Tony Hawk. Sorry, Tony. I didn't shoot Tony Hawk back in the time because he was such a technical skater with really not much style.
Well, the thing about it is, Tony is at the age that you saw him, he had not enough strength, power.
Yeah, absolutely.
So little, and he was fighting. He was like little Kenny Stelmasky when he was doing it.
Yeah. Well, there's no weight to throw himself up the wall.
So but he did what he had to do to get to the top to do it. But eventually he got bigger and.
Well, mad respect for him, but his skating just didn't excite me.
Yeah.
But when I saw him skate some years back for the first time, he stoked the hell out of me.
He was the reason why I quit skateboarding. So.
Well, when Mike McGill,
that's why I was like, I'm going back to school.
When Mike came back from Sweden in the summer camp, with the McTwist, which nobody was privy to except the guys that went. Yeah. He comes into Del Mar, and I'm out there shooting. Of course, it was practice or something. Yeah. He says, "I want to show you somebody. You got to promise another Rodney thing. Yeah. You got to promise you won't take a picture of it, right? Because he was looking to." But after he did that, everybody that came to me said, "I'm done. I'm done." Because the trick was so insane.
That was me. I was in the park.
I'm
done.
But everybody said, if that's what I got to do, to stay in skateboarding, I'm done. I think I remember Christian saying that. Christian Soy.
Oh,
saying, I'm done. I can't. This is too much.
He learned that trick in probably 10 tries.
Well, maybe so, but that was the gut reactions to that trick.
Everybody that did their jaws were dropped. Like, what just happened to skateboard?
Well, my first reaction was, do it again.
Yeah.
What the hell did you do?
Yeah.
Do that again.
Right. Skateboarding, even like the Miller flip. I remember when Eddie came out with the Algarial, it was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll learn that tomorrow,
It was.
I think the stuff that blend your.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see people doing it.
No.
No,
he comes up with the best names, though.
Right.
Yeah. He's got the best names for tricks.
Let's just call it the Madonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Or the woolly mammoth. I know there's a story in Neil's mind behind these, but I don't get it.
The cage whip.
Well, you're going to have to talk to him about.
On your experience here, see, it's worth it. We would love to have.
I would be happy to try to talk him into it. Yeah.
It's gonna have to come from like 10 different angles, I think, or we're gonna have to go kidnap him.
He's a tough cookie, but getting him in front of a camera live, I don't know. We'll have to see.
That's what makes it fun. Anyway,
get him stoned first.
Jim, thank you. That was awesome. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Your photos and stuff, all the stuff you brought to skateboarding. Awesome. You got to, virtually make the history. Like, you were the part of the history of the skateboarding with all your photos and everything else, and we think of. Like, we don't have video. Like, our generation, we don't really have video. And the person that has all the video, he won't let it go.
One day.
Maybe his kids, I hate to see that too, because I'm sure he could.
Oh, I would hate that.
Money,
I would hate that.
And or maybe he'll just give it to them. Who knows?
Right.
But how much
yeah.
Oh, well, and I'm afraid that stuff doesn't last forever
Right,
unless
yeah.
it's stored right.
Yeah.
Just like my slides,
Right.
it degrades.
Well, look at what Dennis Ogden is doing with the Marina Del Rey stuff, the building skate park. Oh,
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't realize he'd done that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's online.
He's
It's
been
cool.
putting it up there. Like the last one he put up, they had just done
Yeah.
the turning point ramp was.
Wow.
It's wild.
Well, you know, this was a really cool show in the sense that I have all these questions.
Never got to him.
I didn't even ever really even look over to
Did
like.
we really miss
answer
like
that.
most of the points?
Oh yeah.
No,
No, we just went around everywhere.
you got about 60% of the stuff.
Yeah,
'cause I
probably,
was marking it
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I mean,
anyway.
we're old friends, so I knew we
Yeah.
were gonna ramble and
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's what's good. But you know, it's more of like I'm just trying to like bring out the history, and
I would say that's my biggest focus now, because I don't know how many years I have left. I mean, I may
none of
live
us do.
another 20 years, or I could die driving home right now.
That's
So for me, preserving our history is
yeah. I mean, that's what's most important. And that's why I really wanted to do this.
yeah.
Is to talk to everybody and find out like the history, funny little things. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, I have never even said on stories
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I was in Europe and
Oh, you
everywhere
got a
else
million
and stuff.
stories.
Oh, I've got a zillion stories. but,
Can
you
you
know,
figure
like-
out a way to interview yourself, maybe?
Yeah, I can. I've been talking
Hey,
about
Dave,
doing
you
it,
remember
actually.
this?
I hadn't thought of that.
I'll talk
We
to my-
could do that. That's right. That
It would actually be pretty funny.
That'd
I'll talk to myself in third person. Yeah, exactly.
No,
See,
but
we'll talk about that. I can do that.
my European experience, I actually was a team manager for a month.
Really?
And I helped, you know, back when I started work for Plan B, when I first started work,
Yeah.
and Mike Ternancy was getting married and he had nobody to take the team over, but he had already set up the tour.
Now, who did the Plan B? Who started that
Mike
one?
Ternancy.
Oh, okay.
So MT did it. He and I were like best friends. Like, you know, we were roommates together for I don't know, like 5 years or something.
Cool.
4 or 5 years. We had the 8th Street team house, and that's when I first met Mike. You know, and then after
Yeah.
that, it was there. Anyway, but I went there with the World Industry guy stuff, and man, I was telling a guy today like half the stories. He was sitting there rolling. You know,
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
just absolute comedy. Yet a lot of it wasn't funny. It was really like it was just a lot of racism in Europe. Let's say that.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, like especially 20, 30 years ago, there was a
Yeah.
lot. People talk differently than they hear,
Right. right.
and we ran into a lot of problems with.
yeah.
And it
Well,
was
you
just
know,
like
Jack's-
every time I was like putting my head down, like, "Oh man, we're gonna go to war right now." Like, "Hey Duffy, you know, where are you at?" Because Duffy and I hung out together on like trip, and I don't know,
Yeah.
I had to go to like the police station, I don't know, 3 different times,
Yeah.
or I had to deal with the policeman like 5 other times, you know, from
Oh,
just
man.
trouble that came our way because you
Right.
know, of the wrong reasons, and
Well, that's like Dave McIntyre.
you know.
He all the time we'd get in these food fights, destroy
Yeah, I
restaurants,
know that was one of my questions on here. I never got to.
and the hotel
So,
destruction thing,
yes,
and he'd have to pay people off.
yeah.
You know,
Be
for
quiet.
yeah.
No, I remember, and I have that on here too. See, look right here. Working for GNS. Remember the food fights? Dave Mack was. You remember? You know.
Oh, and there's a million stories with that.
Yeah, there's a million stories. of
Tearing
that,
up-
but people never like
We have to
people
do-
out
we
there
have to
never
do a
saw
part
it.
two.
You know.
We're gonna have to do
Yeah.
extend this. So many stories.
There's like all
Oh,
the food
I mean-
fights and stuff. I mean, I was involved in one where I got invited to go to a pizza place, and you know, I was wondering why people were buying certain things. Oh, and everybody was like, "Good fight afterwards, man. This
Yeah.
place is gonna get torn up." I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
"Are you kidding me? Like, duh, really? I'm just gonna do that?" And then Mac starts it, and then it was just.
But he'd sit there and
everywhere.
go, "Stop it,
Yeah.
stop it!"
Yeah.
But then he'd
Oh
want to
yeah,
be in
he
it.
was
he
the
started it.
instigator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
he would pay the people off like $1,000. Like, here's cleanup money, you know. It's
Well, he
$1,000.
had to pay several hundred
So-
at a Chinese restaurant
Yeah,
that we trashed,
yeah,
and there were other patrons, so they were getting pelted with the food.
yeah,
as well.
I believe it.
But the
saw it.
worst was a water fight.
Yeah.
It was summertime. Maybe Hester, Milpitas, Newark.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. We were all in the same hotel on the second floor.
Oh man.
And I don't know who started it. I'm not going to take credit, though I might have thrown the first punch.
Yeah.
But somebody knocked on a door, filled up a trash can with water, and throw it whoever answers the door.
Yeah.
And then of course they run out to your room. They come back, and at one point I thought, you know what, we could put it in the toilet. Get it soaked. And when you throw that, it turns into a million spitwads.
Yes.
But the walls were covered with this flock that used to be really popular wallpaper.
Yeah.
We trashed that place, and there was so much water. The water was leaking to the first floor.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what they had to fix that hotel.
Yeah.
But at one point, we were all in our shorts. It was like having a pool party.
Right.
And through the carpeting, the shack carpeting, and a wave of water.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen all that stuff, man.
And I mean, that was just one incident. But Stevie Cab remembered. He remembered that because I was talking to him a while back about it, and he remembered, and he either said Newark or Milpitas.
I was going to say, must have been Milpitas then.
Yeah.
Stevie was still amateur even at Milpitas. And, you know, he was at the first Winchester too. I think he was amateur through the second.
Amateur for the first
Both Winchesters. He skated in it because it was a pro. They made it a pro-am, so him and Scotty Frost could skate.
Yeah.
And then they got like second and third place in the contest, and I ended up with 9th with 7th place money. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So yeah, that's when I quit Sims actually. But anyway, all right. Well,
Crazy.
Jim, again, thank you very much, and I want to thank everybody for out there for sticking around and watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget, End Zone, baby. Hey, check out the dice game. Go online, and you'll see that there. Thank you for everybody for YouTube. Thank you everybody out there on Twitch as well. We really appreciate you guys checking this out, and we hope you enjoyed our show. Anyway, good night.
All right.